MAGA comes to talk. I'm at the radio station today. As you can see, it's Mike back there. Just setting up here. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, got that set. We'll check the audio.
I just had several meetings at the Trump Justice Department. I met
Welcome everyone. Still setting up because I haven't been here in a couple weeks, so I gotta familiarize myself with everything. We'll be live in a couple more minutes. Okay, 1, 2. All right, there we go. Welcome, everyone. We will be live shortly.
Advisory remains in effect. Tonight's low right around 70 degrees, and tomorrow it's more sunshine with a high of 85.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm
Yeah, this
Beach
is my
Council.
new
On the turnpike, there's
Trump
construction-
sweatshirt. I gotta wash it when I get home. It'll shrink up a little bit. It's a little big, but because I lost all that weight, you know.
Beyond Blue Heron Boulevard. Spot something on the roads, call the traffic tip line. Pound 250 keyword West Palm traffic. I'm Rob Hersey.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. This Sunday, PBKC features South Florida's premier sports card and memorabilia show with amazing vendors and a wide variety of all your favorite collectibles.
Welcome to the stream, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And man, oh man, do we have a lot of stories to cover today. Something huge dropped on Steve Bannon's War Room yesterday. I'm going to play a clip of that. And we have a whole bunch of other stories too. I can't believe it's Thursday already. This week is flying by, big time.
In fact, it's the highest inflation rate in 40 years. You need a plan of action for your retirement plans. You need the advice of a retirement expert who can help you protect your money, guarantee your income, and stop losing.
But I'm going to start with
President of Retirement Network Advisors.
this huge story from the War Room yesterday.
And has been for over 20 years. He's seen it all and is a true professional that you can trust. They're family owned and operated. His daughter Jenny works with him. You know Joe and Jenny from right here on True Old
Welcome
West.
one and all. And of course, you're welcome to call in today about anything we discuss.
You need Jupiter Joe's book, The Retirement Know-It-All. Mention my name, Brian Craig, and receive a free copy of his ebook. Go to jupiterjoe.com or call 561-743-0999. That's
One more commercial for Friendly Tire and Margate, and then we'll be live. Yeah, this sweatshirt, my wife got this for me for my birthday, but it just came yesterday. It came late. And this is from the official Trump store. Everything Trump makes is so nice. It's of such great quality.
977-9445. I will give you a price
Here we
over
go.
the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian.
Alrighty, welcome one and all. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. It is Thursday morning already. We've got a lot to cover, and I almost don't know where to begin. Well, Steve Bannon dropped some big news yesterday, which I'm going to get to in just a moment, and that's what the major story of the day is. You know, a lot of people are, I've mentioned this a few times, but a lot of people are becoming very frustrated, MAGA people, with Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, and Kash Patel. And I've been telling you guys, you know, the people that they're going after are people that normally are like James Bond. They have a license to commit any crime they want to commit. And they've lived their life this way. And sometimes it's multi-generational with these people. So to go after all of these lawfare people and whoever else that they're going after, they got to do it right. They got to dot all the I's, cross all the T's. They've got to interview people. They've got to go to grand juries and everything. And you've got to have some patience. And I'm going to play some audio in a few minutes from Steve Bannon's War Room yesterday with someone who was on the program who had a conversation with the top people involved, and he's telling us what's about to happen. Now, before I do that, I'm going to, just so I don't forget, because I meant to mention this on Monday, and it's already Thursday, and I forgot. And I want to mention, well, that thing I want to mention, I'll do that after the break. Let me just get into this. This is, let me pull it up here. This is a guy by the name of Mike Davis. He is a MAGA conservative. I've heard of him. I've seen some of the things he's done. I mean, I'm not vouching for the guy, but he's in the MAGA loop. And he's on the War Room yesterday. And let me share it with you, and then we'll talk about it a little bit, because he makes some good points, okay? So this is Mike Davis on Steve Bannon's War Room yesterday.
Several meetings at the Trump Justice Department. I met with the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, the acting number 3, Chad Mizell, and the incoming number 3, Stanley Woodward. And I want to reassure the War Room posse that they are very much on top of what's happening in our country, right? And just because you're not seeing criminal indictments right now that does not mean they're not coming.
Okay, now I'll play the rest of it in a minute. See, you know, grand juries are secret. In the past, we've heard about what's going on in grand juries and things. Those are illegal leakers. And if you've noticed, they're charging leakers in the Trump administration. Tulsi Gabbard, I got a story with Tulsi, is looking to prosecute some leakers. Leaking is not a part of the Trump administration. And I've been saying this for the last few weeks. There could be multiple grand juries in place. Grand juries are secret. But the people that are being investigated, most of them know, because either they've been questioned, maybe hauled in, co-workers, friends, family may have been questioned. So they know they're on to them. And that's why there's a lot of harassment going on with top cabinet officials. All right, let me rewind this and we'll play the rest of it.
Stanley Woodward, and I want to reassure the War Room posse that they are very much on top of what's happening in our country, right? And just because you're not seeing criminal indictments right now that does not mean They're not coming. They're very much incoming.
I want you to go back to that team because that's pretty impressive. This is not President Trump's first term Justice Department. Walk through who the players are, starting with Pam.
So Pam Bondi is the Attorney General. She is a rock solid constitutionalist.
That's right.
She's bold. She's fearless. She's not being flashy about what she's doing behind the scenes.
Okay.
She is very much doing things behind the scenes.
We love Pam.
Yes.
Okay, who else?
She's great. We have
She's great.
Todd Blanche,
Fabulous.
the Deputy Attorney General.
Took the president on as a client when nobody else would touch her.
And got ostracized.
Ostracized.
Now these law firms are.
Now, Todd Blanche is the Trump lawyer that was with him in court every day that looks like a real tough guy. That's who Blanche is.
For Todd's blessing,
Yes,
now, let's just
yes,
put it that way.
yes.
Good luck to those law firms, especially law firms like Perkins Coie. Good luck.
So he's the deputy.
He's the Deputy Attorney General. He runs the day-to-day of the department. Chad Mizell is Pam's Chief of Staff, who's also the acting number 3, the acting Associate Attorney General.
Is he going to stay? He's doing a great job as Chief of Staff. Is he going to go to be number 3 and give up Chief? He'll stay as
He's
Chief.
staying as Chief of Staff, which is more important.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Chad.
yeah.
It's just more important. Stanley Woodward is going to be the Associate Attorney General once he gets confirmed.
So he's moving from the White House
He's already there.
over at DOJ.
Yeah, he's counselor to the AG right now.
And he was Navarro's lawyer.
Yeah, he was Stanley Woodward's, Walt Nada's.
Yeah.
Was Stanley Woodward was Walt Nada's attorney, the co-defendant on the presidential records case. President Trump has a rock-solid team of very good lawyers who are battle-tested, who are loyal to the president and his agenda. They should be.
Okay, so that's Mike Davis on the War Room yesterday with Bannon. And it makes sense. You know, one thing also you have to consider, they don't even have everyone in place yet. We're not, the 100 days is coming up. It's still early. But my guess is they have, when I say they, I mean Kash Patel, Bongino, and of course the Attorney General Pam Bondi. They may only have a small group of people that they can trust. Remember these departments, the bureaucracies, these lifelong career FBI and Justice Department people are not MAGA, okay? They are on another side. They're on the deep state side. And they don't have all of their people in place yet. There's still confirmations going on. They're just not as high profile as some of the ones we've seen. And I don't think they have that many people. Most of these agents, can they trust most of these career agents to go out and interview Fannie Willis and her gigolo boyfriend? As an example, that's just 2 of them that I hope are on this list, this arrest list. Probably not. You probably couldn't trust most of the people that work at the Justice Department with these types of cases. So how many people do they have that they can trust to work on these cases? It might be, other than the 3 major players, there might be 10 to 20 people, and that's it, and it's a big job. There may be more, I don't know. But that's something you've got to consider. And I know people have this TikTok time period of, okay, everything's got to be done in 3 seconds. But you've got to be patient. Now, there's another update on the purse snatcher with Christy Noem. And this one, if you're on hold, hang in there. I want to hear your thoughts on this. But there's another update that I just saw early this morning on the Christy Noem purse snatcher. The Secret Service have a photograph and video of the purse snatcher, and they're not releasing it to the media or the public. What's that about? They don't have them arrested yet. That happened on Sunday. We've had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now it's Thursday. So we've had 3 full days since the Easter purse snatching. They don't have the guy yet. That guy should be the number 1 on the FBI's most wanted this week. Not only should he have already been in custody, it should be very high profile. Because to not make this a high profile arrest of the Christy Noem purse snatcher is to send a very bad message, isn't it? It is, absolutely. And even when if they get this guy and they tell us all these things about him, I'm still not going to back off on my theory that that's a deep state op to try to get her phone. I'm not. The whole story stinks. The update that I had yesterday that I shared, they gave us another update. Can you believe this? So Christy Noem, this is the story they're telling us now. She's in this restaurant. She's at a table with her husband and her entire family. Her kids, spouses, and her grandchildren. And who knows who else in the extended family is there at this massive table. And she has a very large Secret Service detail, not two people sitting at the bar. That's nonsense. Now, two of the agents may have been at the bar, but she has a very large Secret Service detail. The latest story or update on this is that this purse snatcher came into the restaurant with a mask, wearing dark clothing, sat down at an empty table next to Christy Noem, reached over with his foot and slid her bag over and walked out with it. Come on. Does that sound believable with somebody who's a Secret Service protectee? And it sounds like maybe 20 people at least at the table. Nobody noticed this. No, this whole thing stinks. Stinks. And I don't buy any of it. Now, our number's toll free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll take our first break of this Thursday and be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott on the radio reminding you that your favorite oldies are back on the air right after 10 a.m. this morning on the True Oldies channel.
You get a doorbell camera, and you get a doorbell camera. Everybody gets a doorbell camera. That's right. The first 40 callers who dial 1-833-283-5050 can unlock this limited time offer, featuring a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone. Complete with
Welcome, everyone. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe.
low-cost central station monitoring. You'll also receive a free customized home security system, along with professional installation. Your new security system includes a high-tech LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts, a lifetime warranty, and a backup battery. Don't miss out. Be one of the first 40 True Oldies listeners to call 1-833-283-5050 to claim your free doorbell camera with snow and shield installation. That's 1-833-283-5050. Call now.
When you need lab work, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Their prices are guaranteed.
You're on hold. Hang in there. If you want to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat.
And you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor can order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your health care and visit Any Lab Test Now of Boca at Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. There's lots of Any Lab Test Nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca at Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
This is John from Lighthouse Medical Center, and we've been able to help a lot of patients. We want to be able to help you with your neuropathy issues as well. You have numbness, burning, pain, tingling, lack of sleep, or balance issues. Please come see us and let us help you with that problem. There's hope out there for you. We've had thousands of patients come through Lighthouse Medical Center. Being able to see the quality improved in their life and being able to help them and their family has been a blessing to us and a blessing to them. Call for a free consultation with us today. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642.
If you're a homeowner or with a homeowners association and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. Laporta Roofing has been in the roofing and construction business since 1984, with thousands of roof installations and thousands of satisfied customers. Did you know that in the state of Florida, you can open a roofing company and borrow someone else's license? Tom Laporta is the holder of his roofing and general contractor's licenses, not like the other companies that borrow other people's licenses. So be sure who you're dealing with. Tom Laporta and his team are honest, knowledgeable and reliable, and he'll never sell you a roof you don't need. Laporta Roofing carries all insurance, including workers' compensation on all of its employees. Not just a waiver like other contractors. Laporta Roofing can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential roofing, HOAs, condominiums, and churches. If it's roofing, Laporta Roofing can do it. So call Tom Laporta on his cell phone, 954-604-4602, or connect online at laportaroofing.com. That number again is 954-604-4602. Laporta Roofing, the go-to roofing company you can trust.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True.
All righty, we're back. Callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show. I want to add something to the Tom Laporta recorded commercial you just heard, because we have time limitations on recorded commercials. There's one thing I want to add to that. Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing can handle a job of any size, right? So, single family home. He does residential and commercial, but if it's a single family home or an apartment or office complex or a condominium community or an HOA community that has 300 units, he can handle a job that large, even bigger. So he can handle a job of any size. All right, I'm going to go to the phones. Oh, let me give Tom's number again. This is Tom Laporta's cell phone that he only gives out to our listeners. All right. Now, if you can go to his website, laportaroofing.com, but the number there is not his cell phone. There's a number there you can call and get a hold of Laporta Roofing, no problem. But if you want Tom Laporta's cell phone, you can call or text him at 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. All right, so Steve Bannon's guest is reporting that arrests are imminent from the Pam Bondi Justice Department. That's very exciting. All right, our number toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Jeff from Maine.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, I watched that yesterday morning. That Mike Davis is one shot pool. He's a rock solid guy, and they're getting, like you said earlier last week, they're getting the low fruit, and I think they're actually catching morals because they got one in Hegseth group, and now they're going to find one with this guy. That had to be a Secret Service.
Well, this arrest that Mike Davis is talking about on Steve Bannon, it may not be an arrest. It may be a whole bunch of arrests at once. President Trump picked people that are very media savvy, and they know how to, with media. And when you're doing something like this, and you notice this is the whole Trump strategy in this second term. If you overwhelm the media with news stories, they can't focus on any particular one. So I could see him coming in with 5 to 10 arrests like that all at once. We turn on the news. Oh my goodness, 12 conspirators from the lawfare have been arrested. That would not surprise me.
And once he gets to those medium fruit, those ones are gonna be the ones to want to cut a deal and start naming bigger names. And it's gonna take time.
Well, if I were one of these people, I would have already contacted Bongino and say, hey, I'll tell you everything I know in exchange for a deal. First one to squeal gets the deal. That's the old saying, right? And I'd be squealing like crazy. I wouldn't go to prison for these lunatics. Are you crazy? That's nuts.
I think they're targeting the heads, and it's going to take a while to get there. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to start out at the top and work down.
They may already have sealed grand jury indictments that they've not released yet. That happens a lot too, and that would not surprise me.
And I believe that's happened. But how high have they gone so far? I think that's the only question, how high and who they've really gotten closer to the top. Question.
Well, we're going to find out soon. All right. Appreciate the call. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
John Smith. I'm calling from South Carolina.
Okay, John Smith. Okay, who's your girlfriend? Jane Doe?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted to call just to see, when we were going to get that check cut that I was talking about. He's saving us all this money. So I was wanting to know when that check was going to come through.
Why would you get a check?
Well, he's saving us all this money. We're paying him $1 billion a day.
You're paying? You pay taxes? You pay taxes? What tax bracket? What tax bracket are you in?
So I was wanting to know when the check.
Well, no, I'll get to this. So on tax, when you send it.
Pay for a peanut.
Oh, so you're just making stuff up now. So on tax day, how much money did you? When is tax day, Mr. Taxpayer? April 20th. No, oh my goodness. I mean,
Well, I can't remember.
If you paid taxes, you would remember, like I did. I had to send a check in.
Early. I don't wait until tax day number one.
You know, if you pay taxes, if you pay income taxes, I don't mean the payroll taxes. If you paid income taxes, you would know tax day, you would know your bracket, and you would know how much you paid. You got nothing. And if you traded in your 401k, you're an idiot. Who would close out their stocks right now? Somebody, everything you've said is not true. Why don't you just, why do you make up this cosplay life of yours?
Well, I say that, Trump, look it up, let your audience look it up. Check out Trump and how he was bailed out by the Russians. They bought a bunch of properties from him.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. I missed this in the news. So the Russians bought out Trump or bailed Trump out? Yeah, tell me.
For overpriced, for millions of dollars. And now it's a coincidence that now he's, has a 0% tariff on this country.
First off, these, you're one of these I came up with this new name for these callers like you. I call you guys cosplay callers. Cosplay call. You know what cosplay is? Yeah, because no, you're not. You don't pay taxes. Everything you've said about yourself is not true. You don't even know.
Because I filed my taxes in February, March.
Yeah, okay. You don't even know when tax day is. Now, you may not. Because everyone that pays taxes, they have an accountant and everything else, they know what the dates are. All right, appreciate the call. I don't mind talking to people that are liberals and everything. But, this cosplay caller thing that's going on, where they just make stuff up all the time and they have these fantasy identities and lives and everything, it's really pathetic. It really is when you think about it. But, so far as what he said, that there's no tariffs on Russia, there's an embargo against Russia, right? You're not allowed to do business with Russia right now. There's an embargo against them because of the invasion of Ukraine, and it's still in place. In fact, yesterday, I think it was Marco Rubio yesterday, made a big deal saying, no, we're not lifting the sanctions on Russia, that there was a fake news story that Russian sanctions were being lifted. You can't do business with Russia unless you break the law. It's illegal. Okay? So that's a 100% tariff, okay, on Russia. We don't get goods from Russia. So there may not be any tariffs collected from Russia, but that's just because we have an embargo and sanctions against them because of the Ukraine war. They can't do business with the United States and many other countries. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Connie and Greg.
Hey, it's Scott on the radio, reminding you that your favorite oldies are back on the air right after 10 a.m. this morning on the True Oldies channel.
Now,
If you're on hold, hang in there.
the True Oldies weather forecast.
Partly sunny today, highs in the low to mid-80s. A small craft advisory remains in effect. It's low right around 70 degrees, and tomorrow it's more sunshine with a high of 85.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
On I-95, the southbound right lane is closed at Congress Avenue. The left lane blocked on the entrance ramp from 6th Avenue South to northbound I-95. Spot something on the roads? Call the traffic tip line, pound 250, keyword West Palm Traffic. I'm Robert. Traffic, a service
Say yes, take it action. We have secured over 800 new Kias on the ground and on the way. At pre-tariff pricing, now is the time to act. Interest rates as low as 0%. Rebate discounts up to $17,000 on select model. Tariff impacts are expected within 90 days. If you are planning on a vehicle purchase in 2, 5, or 8 months, the time to act is now. This statewide pre-tariff Kia sale will be held at one location only. City Kia of Greater Orlando, right off the Florida Turnpike. Drive a little, save a lot. See dealer for details. Visit us at citykia.com.
This is Dr. Philip Appleton. I'm a chiropractic physician. I've seen thousands and thousands of patients in my career. I've been a chiropractic physician here in Pompano Beach for 40 years. We're open 6 days a week. If you have sciatica, you have bursitis, you have tendonitis, you're tired of taking the pills, the drugs, the injections, and you heard that you have to live with it, well, there's a lot of times you don't have to live with it. I've had great success with helping people. My testimonials are marvelous with patients. They love the treatment. There's no injections. There's no medication. There's no surgery. There's none of that. It's strictly either the laser, the acupuncture I do, or the shockwave therapy I do. Open 6 days a week. Come in for the free consultation and be willing to look at you and help you.
Take advantage of that no-charge consultation.
If you're on hold, hang in there.
Remember, appointments are not necessary, and walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. You know, those of you out there that are always whining about tariffs, did you hear the commercial break? Whatever, you know, I'm a Kia guy. I own a Kia. I bought my daughter a Kia. My daughter's car is a Kia that I bought her, and one of my old car is a Kia. I have a Kia that is 15 years old, and it runs like the day I got it. Okay, it does need cleaned out a little bit. I don't, you know, but it runs like the day I got it. 15 years old. Knock on wood. I shouldn't even say that, but it run. You know, I love Kia cars. And did you hear the commercial, Mike? It said pre-tariff pricing going on. What a great marketing strategy. I love that pre-tariff marketing. Pre-tariff pricing going on at the Kia dealership there. That's how tariffs work. Boy, they're gonna have a boost of sales. That's just awesome. That's awesome. People are smart out there, right? All right. Our number 1-888-465-2631. I wish I would have thought of that. Pre-tariff pricing. I guess I could integrate that into my pillow. You know, with my pillow, there's no tariffs because everything's made right here in the United States, in Minnesota. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that. I like that. I'm going to try to integrate the tariffs into some of the ad copy. I'll think about that. All right, let's go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Mike from Austin, Texas.
Okay. Mike in Austin, Texas. What's on your mind?
Not much. And I had a Kia. It was the best car I've ever had.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Anymore, but
they're awesome.
You're right about that. So I want to talk about something. It's a bit taboo, so I do, you know what I mean? I want to respect your house.
Well, before you get into it, what is it about, if it's taboo?
Well, it's just the whole concept of, white supremacy being prevalent in the United States as to whether that is even a thing or not.
Okay, you can bring up white supremacy. Let's see where you're going. I'll see. It's not open phones today, but, whatever. Go ahead.
And I understand if you have to end the call, but my idea is I don't think white supremacy is even a thing. The fact that it can be so openly even talked about would lead us to believe that that's not as prevalent of an issue.
Well, okay.
What I see as a prevalent issue, and again, this is where it's taboo, is I believe what's going on is Jewish supremacy.
Oh, my goodness. Jewish supremacy? All right, slow down for a second. First off, give me an example, the most recent example that you could think of Jewish supremacy in the United States that's affecting our lives. This anti-Semitism.
Let's say Zelensky's funding by a Jewish oligarch and the...
No, that's in Ukraine. I'm talking about in America, in the United States.
It directly affects us because taxpayers fund that war.
Well, we're getting out of that war. That was with the corrupt administration that was stealing money. Not everything. excuse me. So anything that a Jew is involved in is Jewish supremacy?
I'm not saying I don't put.
Give me an example in the United States. Who's the leading Jewish supremacist in your anti-Semitic brain?
Let me give you another example. Okay, so OnlyFans, created by a rabbi. So basically,
A rabbi?
correct, into whores.
Oh.
They get.
I don't know. Hold on. I don't know about that. A rabbi? Was it a reform rabbi or an Orthodox rabbi?
The weeds of the man.
The weeds. What? Let me ask you this. Hold on. I'm going to ask you a question. How long have you hated Jews?
I don't. I swear to God.
You don't hate Jews. Yeah, you don't. No, you do. You're anti-Semitic. Well, here's the thing. When you're dealing. Here's the. I didn't. No. Here's the go-to what? It's the go-to what?
Just spot check what I said. If anything I said was false.
Well, I don't know who the. Listen, I will look up who I will look up who the founder of OnlyFans is. I'd be shocked if it was a rabbi, but I'll look. But here. Now, slow down for a second. Slow down for a second. You know, I've talked about this a lot over the years when we've talked to idiots. Most people that are racist. Okay, all right. I'm gonna listen. You've got to stop talking for a moment, okay? So I can get a thought out. All right. You can't keep butting in and asking a question about every syllable. Okay. Here that I utter. People that are racist, anti-Semites, bigots. You know, people like you. They don't consider themselves racist, bigots, or anti-Semites. They all think that they just see things realistically. As an example, Jasmine Crockett hates white people like the plague, right? But she doesn't think she hates white people. She just thinks that she sees the reality about the racial situation in America. You know, when you said Jewish supremacy, I asked you who the leading Jewish supremacist is in the United States, and you didn't tell me who. Can you tell me who this is? Yeah. Who is the leading Jewish supremacist in America?
I mean, these are the people that are behind the scenes.
Oh, they're behind the scenes. So you don't know. If Jewish supremacy is real and there are Jewish supremacists, certainly there must be a major figure that's controlling everything.
Yeah, and most of them are in the Fed. Yeah.
But you can't give me a name that I would know. All right, appreciate the call. You know, I want to tell you guys this. And this is Obama's doing. And he's got a lot of idiots like Candace Owens and Mark Dice and others that are helping. In America, anti-Semitism was virtually wiped out a few years ago. It really was. And anti-Semitism used to be very strong in Florida. This is before my time. But a lot of people, I bet you don't know this, Mike. Do you know that Jews couldn't go to Miami Beach in the 50s? They couldn't go to the beach. Like black people couldn't go to the beach. That's hard to believe, right? But it's true. And President Trump was the first owner of a golf club in Palm Beach that allowed Jews and blacks to become members. Okay? I know, isn't that nuts? And that wasn't that long ago. So, but anti-Semitism was virtually wiped out in this country. And now it is back. Now I'm going to look up who the founder of OnlyFans is. I mean, OnlyFans is a terrible thing. And there's a lot of sex slavery going on there. Sometimes the sex slaves are in bondage by their boyfriends and husbands, right? There's some guy, there's one guy, I'm not going to say his name, but there's one guy who's big on social media. He has like 5 or 10 OnlyFans girls working for him, and they got to work all the time because of the money stops. So I'm not, OnlyFans is a poison in our society. There's no doubt about it. But I'll look and see if it. I find it hard to believe it was founded by a rabbi. But anti-Semitism is back, and it's back strong. And sadly, the organizations out there that years ago fought against anti-Semitism, like the ADL, Anti-Defamation League, they've been compromised as Democrat activist organizations. And there's really not an organized organization to expose or combat anti-Semitism these days, because all of those groups, like the Southern Poverty Law Center and all these groups, they're all about promoting Democrat garbage and never Trumperism, okay? And anti-Semitism in this country right now is at the highest level it has been in my lifetime. And I really mean that. You see it all the time, and it's really sad. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Me?
Sounds like you. Oh my goodness. No, but you sound incoherent. But you called me. You called me. What's on your name? Well, on your mind.
Just Daddy.
All right. Thanks for your call. Oh my goodness. Now, I just looked this up while that guy was blathering. The founder of OnlyFans is a guy by the name of Tim Stockley. He launched OnlyFans in 2016. He's a British tech entrepreneur. Launched OnlyFans with £10,000. It was a loan from his father, Guy Stokely. He stepped down as CEO in 2021, but is still, of course, the founder. So no, OnlyFans was not founded by a rabbi. Shocker. Oh my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is New Jersey. Hey, Brian.
Yes.
We're good MAGA people. We're not the other kind. We love Donald Trump.
What do you mean? Who are these bad MAGA people that you're talking about?
There are none.
That's correct.
The callers that make fun and use bad language. We're just there to say that a lot of New Jerseyans and people in this town and this world are loving what Donald Trump is doing. All of it.
You know, what happened in New Jersey? A few months ago, you guys were under UFO drone attack, and that just totally disappeared. So was that all fake? All the the drones of New Jersey?
It could well have been fake. Just to distract our attention from the more important things going on, all these happenings that are so strange and coincidental. Yeah, it could well have been fake. But what not? You know what's not fake? Every morning putting on the Brian Craig.
Yes, that's right. All right, appreciate the call. Not much to say there, but all right. After the next break, I'll get into I'll get the show back on track and get into some of the news stories. I do want to mention this, though. I meant to mention this at the beginning of the week, and if I've mentioned it on the air, I don't remember mentioning it on the air. I did talk about this on my podcast, but I want to mention it again. I watched a movie. I don't watch too many movies anymore, but I watched a movie over the weekend called The Order, and it stars Jude Law, which I'm surprised I haven't seen Jude Law star in a movie in a while. I'm sure he's been making them. I just haven't seen them. But The Order, and it's a true story. And the reason I watched it, Jude Law plays an FBI guy. The Order was a white supremacist organization that robbed banks, counterfeited money, and robbed armored cars. And they also assassinated, in the driveway of his home, a radio talk show host by the name of Alan Berg, who was actually on an episode of 60 Minutes with Steve Kane back in the 80s. And they made a couple of movies about the assassination of Alan Berg, but none of them were accurate tellings, and The Order is. And there's a movie with Deborah Winger called Betrayed, and Tom Berenger that's about The Order that killed Alan Berg. And then the movie Talk Radio with Eric Bogosian and Alec Baldwin is based on that. And I read the book about Alan Berg. A local reporter where he was murdered by The Order wrote a book called Talked to Death, and it was about him. And he was a lot like me, and I turn on the movie, and they have an actor playing him, and he's talking to callers, and he says some of the things that I would say to a caller, and you've heard me say. And what happened with Alan Berg, he was a Jew, of course, Berg, and guys from the white supremacist compound in the order would call him on the air, and he would tear them up on the air. So they murdered him with a machine gun, and it's a terrible thing. But the movie is about catching these guys that murdered Alan Berg, and it's a very, very good movie. And I enjoyed it. And since I read the book, Talk to Death, I can tell you from what I read in the book, it's pretty, there's always drama and things that are added, but it was a pretty accurate telling of the organization and the murder of Alan Berg. And, somebody that does what I do for a living, you kind of like, oh my goodness, maybe I better be careful. But they did something at the end of the movie that just ticked me off and spoiled the whole movie and made me sick. And I'll tell you what that is after the break.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
We're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Linda Boynton, I just received my 7th and 8th set of Lake Lindell sheets. This time we got flannel ones, which we had never had. I got one for my husband for Christmas. He loves it. Oh my God. And especially with the cold days and nights you've been having the last few months in Florida, I got 2 more. I send them to my friends for Christmas now, and they just love them. Absolutely love them.
Yeah, I have the flannels too. You're like Goldilocks. They keep you the same temperature all night long.
Yes. So, perfect. The guy just has a great product.
The thing with Mike Lindell sheets, all of them, the fitted sheet at the bottom fits perfectly on the mattress. Every other sheet, you can't get the 4 corners on. And it's almost impossible. Even after having them for years and washing them, I don't know how many times, they still fit perfectly.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
You're probably going to be on the next My Pillow commercial, just so you know, okay?
Okay.
Okay, just to let you know. You heard Lynn from Boynton. She loves her My Pillow sheets. Order yours right now at a huge discount. Use our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at mypillow.com. When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. But don't just take my word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie. Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth. He fixed it. It was supposed to be temporary. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
Gold, silver, copper stocks are about to take off. Catch them now while they're cheap comparatively. There's real potential opportunity in the markets. Now, listen to the Ellis Market Report and Money Talk Radio weekdays, 9:30 a.m. on your True Oldies channel.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Donna from Jupiter. I'm calling to share my great experience with Jupiter Joe. My husband and I started listening to you a few years ago, and that's when we learned about Jupiter Joe Thomas. We're seniors with no pension and collect Social Security. All our investments were in stocks and IRAs until we heard about Jupiter Joe, speaking of having your money work for you. So we got in touch with him, and he went above and beyond trying to locate all our diversifications. He answered all our questions clearly and returned every phone call. He recommended an annuity that enabled us to get a safe monthly income for life. So I just want to tell everyone, if you're in need of additional income, especially with the high cost of everything these days, please call Joe Thomas. It's no cost to you. He is so professional, knowledgeable, trustworthy, and you can put total confidence confidence in him. My husband and I can't say enough good things about Jupiter Joe and his staff.
I want to thank you for your kind words for Jupiter Joe Thomas. If you want to call Joe Thomas, I'm going to give you his number. It's a no-charge consultation, which you can take advantage of no matter where you're located. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online at jupiterjoe.com.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now,
All right, callers, stand by. I want to finish up with this thing with the movie that ticked me off. So I'm talking about this movie, The Order, with Jude Law, and it's a true story. The Order, the guys that murdered Alan Berg, like a lot of white supremacists back in that time, there was a novel that was very popular among white supremacists called The Turner Diaries, okay? And The Turner Diaries was about the white supremacist launching a revolution and taking over the United States. And they showed these white supremacists reading the Turner Diaries to their kids at night. And there's some pictures, some drawings, in the book. And I saw one of them and I was like, uh-oh, I bet they're going to go where they go. But I let it slide because I wanted to see the movie. When the movie ended about these white supremacists that murdered Alan Berg and did a lot of other terrible things too, they give you, they put up on the screen in text what happened to everybody and everybody involved and everything. And then they say, and the Turner Diaries has been inspired the Oklahoma City bombing and the insurrectionist on January 6th. So I'm watching this great movie, and then they tell us at the end that all of us that are MAGA are the Order. I mean, I'm not going to blame Jude Law because I don't think he's a big star anymore. He needs the work. But that movie, that made me sick. That really ticked me off. And when they put in the politics like that, it spoils the movie forever. I'll never watch that movie again. In fact, I was going to recommend people watch that movie, but not anymore because of that at the end. And when they put something like that in the end, how can you trust anything else that's in the film? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is John Smith again.
No, it's one call per day. But if you call like now, it's one call per day. So you can call tomorrow. All right. Oh my goodness. When people are new, I am a little nicer to them about that because I know everybody doesn't know. But you can only call once per day. Most shows say like once a week. But once a day, is kind of like what we keep it. All right, now, so I was talking about earlier that it looks like we're going to get some arrest from Pam Bondi and Cash Patel and Bongino, according to Bannon's show yesterday. And Tulsi Gabbard, listen to this. Tulsi Gabbard, this is new today. Tulsi Gabbard has referred 2 intelligence officials to the Department of Justice for leaking classified intel, with a 3rd referral on the way. The unidentified officials allegedly leaked classified intelligence to the Washington Post and the New York Times, the liberal CIA, NSA, news outlets of record. Remember, the Washington Post, that is, the Watergate paper. And remember, James Comey, after he was fired, was seen walking into the New York Times building to talk to them. An office of the Director of National Intelligence officials told this to Fox News. Politicization of our intelligence and leaking classified information puts our nation's security at risk and must end, Tulsi Gabbard said, who's the Director of National Intelligence. Those who leak classified information will be found and held accountable to the fullest extent of the law, Tulsi says. Tulsi Gabbard then went on to claim that the deep state criminals leaked classified information for partisan political purposes to undermine President Trump's agenda. She says, I look forward to working with the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate, terminate, and prosecute these criminals. The move to refer the 3 officials for criminal prosecution comes as Trump officials ramp up their investigations into possible leaks, with Gabbard establishing a new task force to root out unauthorized disclosure of classified intelligence. You know how the law works with classified intelligence in the media? This is crazy. It's illegal to leak out the classified intel, right? But if you're in the media, it's not illegal for you to accept it. Now, I guess I'm in the media, so somebody could come in here and give me a whole case of classified documents. They've committed a crime and I haven't. Isn't that something? And they use this, and it's the same old people, always the Washington Post and the New York Times. This is how they do it. And these guys that have the criminal referrals, I'm sure they know who they are. They are probably not in a panic. They're saying to themselves, how did this happen? How did this happen? Why are they after me? Why are they picking on me? Everybody does this. Tulsi said at the time, a leaker within the intelligence community shared information on Israel and Iran with the Washington Post. Oh my goodness. I mean, there's a war about to happen there. She's conducted an internal review and sent the criminal referral to the Justice Department. A source inside her office told Fox News. Yeah, no leakers. That's why we're not getting info about the Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, Dan Bongino prosecutions and investigations. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, this is James.
Yeah, James.
As far as the leakers are concerned, right, we need people to be held accountable, right? Can you agree on that?
Yes.
Okay. So if the usual process of reporting something internally doesn't work out, if something is leaked to the reporters, they bring it up to the state. They reach out to the...
They're what? They're doing what? They're bringing up what?
If something happens, right, like you said before, Watergate, if something like that happens, they reach out to the news reporters. The news reporter reaches out to whoever, whatever government entity.
You support? You think that's the right thing to do?
When the regular process doesn't.
When the regular, you've got an accent. What kind of accent is this that you have?
Haitian.
Oh, okay. Are you an American citizen?
I am American citizen.
How long have you lived in the United States?
12 years.
12 years. Okay, maybe you're not an American in your heart and mind. If you work for a government agency and have a security clearance and have access to classified information, you can't give it to people. That's against the law. Jonathan Pollard, for you anti-Semites out there, you'll like this. Jonathan Pollard, no, I'm not going to hang on. Goodbye. Jonathan Pollard gave information to Israel that was classified. He went to prison for it. Now, they let him out many years later, but he went to prison for it. You just can't leak classified information because you don't think the process is going along. Maybe that's how it works in Haiti, but Haiti's an anarchy, right? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, brother, it's me. What's up? I'm on your team. Let's go.
Me? I don't know who you are.
Oh, well, I'm Dylan Carl Lee. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I've been born and raised in the United States of America my life.
Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Why? What is this? This is your life that nobody cares about? Why'd you call? What's on your mind?
Oh, brother, I just saw your live chat, so I just wanted to come in with you. Why are you so aggressive?
Well, you've got nothing to say. Share. You called in. You must have something to say.
Well, I'm on your team, brother. I'm gonna hype you up and back you up.
No, I don't need anybody to back. I don't need you to back me up.
Really?
No. All right. Take care. Oh my goodness. But I'll tell you what, though. I want to talk to you guys about Mike Lindell at My Pillow. Each and every day when I get out of the shower, I grab my MyPillow towel and I dry up. PJ called in the other day. PJ Gladnick, he writes with Newsbusters, and you guys know he calls all the time. He says these towels actually, they're like you said. Yeah, they are. You've never used a towel like a MyPillow towel. And I didn't realize how bad all the other towels were until I got my MyPillow towel set. And, the MyPillow towels, which you can get the 6-piece MyPillow towel set for just $39.98. That's $30 off at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. The other towels, they don't dry you. All they do is spread the water around your body. That's it. With the MyPillow towels, it actually dries you. I open up the shower, I reach out, I grab the towel, I dry off in the shower, I get out, and I'm not cold. That cold feeling you get when you get out of the showers, it's the it's the shower water evaporating off your body, right? I think everybody knows that. But when you dry off in the shower with the MyPillow towels, you don't have any water on your body. You're not cold. It's amazing. You know, they're the best towels ever, ever, ever. They have a whole bunch of new colors. And again, just $39.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout. You can also order by phone toll-free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E at checkout. Okay, now, there's a lot of people that are new to the show, and I know people think I'm rude and stuff, and, you know, maybe I am sometimes. But let me tell you how the show works, okay? This isn't like, oh, I'm on the line. What do you want to talk to me about? Now, that's amateur hour, and that's a show that has no listeners. That's or the Joyce Kaufman show. Is that still on the air? But here's how this show works. You're listening to the program. You hear me or Steve or a caller. You hear someone say something that sparks your interest, and you call in about that. Maybe you agree with what you heard. Maybe you're ticked off about what you heard. But you don't just call in and say, hey, brother, what do you want to talk to me about? That's pathetic. You know, it's pathetic. That's not how it works. And Monday through Thursday, today's Thursday, we try to round you up to and corral you to talk about the issues we bring up. Friday is open phones. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. But you're welcome to call in, but have something to say. So if somebody calls in and they have nothing to say, I do lose patience with that. Absolutely. Okay, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. Our number, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll be back after our top of the hour break.
WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
Partly sunny today, highs in the low to mid-80s. A small craft advisory remains in effect. Tonight's low right around 70 degrees, and tomorrow it's more sunshine with a high of 85.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Watch for stalled vehicle blocking the southbound lanes of the turnpike just south of Beeline Highway. Right lane closed on I-95 southbound at Congress Avenue. Spot something on the roads, call the traffic tip line, pound 250, keyword West Palm traffic on Rogers.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. This Sunday, PBKC features South Florida's premier sports card and memorabilia show with amazing vendors and a wide variety of all your favorite collectibles. Admission and parking are free. Don't miss PBKC's Kentucky Derby Fest Saturday, May 3rd. Enjoy the delicious trackside barbecue, live music, derby hat contest, mint juleps, and more. The paddock will feature its incredible derby buffet. For more information or to buy tickets, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Brian Craig here. When it comes time to get my blood work done, I don't have time to spend hours in the doctor's office or waiting hours at one of those big labs. That's why I go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs for all of my lab work. Their techs are highly skilled and professional, and their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest on lab work you'll find anywhere. Appointments aren't necessary. Doctor's orders and prescriptions, they're not needed either. I'm in and out in 15 minutes or less. I get the results the next
We'll be back
day
shortly,
in my
guys.
box, and they also send it to my doctor. There's lots of Any Lab Test Nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral
If you're on hold,
Springs.
hang in there.
Lab Test Now of Boca is at the Sandalfoot Plaza.
I got about a
It's where
minute.
Western Beef is, between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough Boulevard on the east side of State Road 7, 441. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Square Mall. Call Any Lab Test Now of Boca at 561-237-5009.
All right, stand by.
Any Lab Test Now of
About
Coral
60
Springs,
seconds, we will be back.
906-5983. And don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
We'll be back right after this
Put off buying new tires
last
because you
commercial.
thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire in Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977. 445 954-977-9445.
On the air since 1977. It's the Steve Kane Show.
Alrighty, we are back. I'm Brian, the Steve Kane Show. Call us on standby. Our number 1-888-465-2631. You know, I saw a video on X yesterday, and it was this guy. Maybe you've seen this. He said he's a Republican. He's in his 20s. And he says he's a Republican and his girlfriend is trans and he's not gay. And when I first saw the video, I thought this is not real. And I watched it a couple times. And no, he was serious. And yeah, if you are a man and your girlfriend is trans, you are not straight. Okay? But it's really scary that a young man thinks that. It's crazy. Isn't it? It is. It's pretty frightening. And President Trump came up with a great plan. And you know, all this gender stuff going on, we're not having enough babies being born. We're just not. Because the age of the people that get pregnant and make people pregnant, they're so messed up, man. You know, now this guy, you know, he's not going to get his girlfriend pregnant because his girlfriend's trans. And when you look at the childbearing and impregnation generation, which would be mostly Gen Z right now, but some millennials, what percentage of them are gay? When I was young and first got into this line of work, gay activists said 10% of the population were gay, and that was a great exaggeration. And how, you know, I don't know how many were gay, but how many were out was always the question, because people were not out of the closet back then like they are now. But what percentage of the childbearing population of the country is living a gay lifestyle today? A big chunk of it. And they have all these different genders. They're so confused. They're not having the kind of sex that makes babies. So Trump talking about this $5,000 baby bonus, it has a lot of people upset. And let me read through some of this a little bit, because I thought this was interesting. And if you're on hold, I'll go to your calls in a minute. This is in dailyfetch.com. It's a pretty good conservative news outlet. The Trump administration plans to tackle America's demographic crisis. See, this is Elon's influence. Elon talks about this. That's why Elon is getting women pregnant all over the place. He's trying to make babies. And our birth rate and death rate are almost the same. The birth rate is only slightly above the death rate in the United States right now. That's a civilization that's in decline. The Trump administration plans to tackle America's demographic crisis with a range of proposals designed to encourage families to have more children. One idea involves reserving 30% of Fulbright scholarships, which is a government-funded fellowship, for applicants who are married or have children. Another proposal is to give American mothers a $5,000 payment following childbirth. Not before, because you don't want them to get pregnant and abort the baby. A strategy similar to the one Hungary has used to help grow its native population. Other suggestions include programs to educate women on reproductive health and fertility awareness, including how to better understand all kinds of stuff. I don't need to go through all of that. Let's see if there's anything new. I think that's a great idea. With our birth and death rate being almost the same, we need more people getting pregnant. And so many people are gay or this or that or identify as cats. I don't know what all is going on today. You know, not enough people are getting pregnant. There's just not. I don't know what young guys do today. I mean, you know, it's always tough being a guy. You know, but it's got to be really tough now with what's going on out there. This is a great idea. And I know a lot of people are upset about it. You know, the View were griping about it. I'm not going to play what they had to say about it because I don't want to hear their voices. But when you're a country whose population is in decline, and not only that, the birth rate and the death rate almost equal, and then Biden brings over 20 million illegals into the country, we're losing our country. We're losing our civilization. And by the way, that $5,000 is to American mothers of any skin color, any ethnicity, any religion. It's not $5,000 to white mothers, okay? Although some of you probably think I'm a white mother of another kind. I'm sure. So it's not a racial thing. It's an American thing. Nothing wrong with it. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm calling from Michigan. I just have a quick question.
Yes.
My sister, whenever we debate, I'm right-leaning, she's left-leaning. Super smart, gentle lady. She always tries to divert and go to emotional subjects rather than sticking on topics she's losing ground with. I'm wondering if there's a better way I can approach it to try and keep her on subject.
Well, give me an example. Give me an example. Like you're debating your sister about something, and tell me what happened. Tell me what is it and what happens. What does she say?
So, like for example, with the immigration stuff that's going on, where I'm bringing up how the previous administration had really messed with the country, absolutely just flooding our country with immigrants, and she, instead of like, hey, that is a problem, will jump to, hey, they're deporting Americans. And it's like, well, hold on. That's not what the news says. And she just refuses to budge.
Well, what you do is ask, this is like if I had some idiot caller on the line, right? And they said something stupid like that, I would say, give me the name of an American who's been deported.
And I tried that.
Does she have a name? He's not an American. He's a Central American. Okay, he's not an American. He's not an American.
Then I understand, and I'm with you on that. But then she'll jump subject to something else whenever she's losing.
Well, that's what liberals do. I mean, you hear it with the callers, like that anti-Semite that called me in the last hour. I'd ask him a question, they try to move on to other topics. I can't help you. Your sister's lost, but you know what? Her opinions don't matter. She is in a never-Trumper cult. Her opinions are the minority opinions that have been rejected by the American people. So she's not just out of touch with reality, she's out of touch with the pulse of the country.
Yeah.
You should have her call. You should have her call me. I'll straighten her out. Have your sister call me. I'll straighten her out. How old is she?
She is 26.
Is she married?
No. She works in a heavily dominated male industry, so she's pretty sexy.
Like what? Like what does she do?
She's a pilot.
She's a pilot? She flies. What does she fly?
Airline.
Where did she learn how to fly?
She paid for the school.
Oh my goodness, that's the problem. That's the problem. All right, appreciate the call. I mean, didn't I tell you guys? When you're flying on an airline, right? When you're flying on an airline, do you want to fly on an airline with somebody that learned to fly in the military, like the United States Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, right? Or do you want someone who went to the flight school down at Executive Airport down the street? That's crazy to me. My daughter, she's buying a ticket to fly home from California. And I told her, don't fly Delta. You can get some good rates on Delta. I said, don't fly Delta. She said, why? And I told her that DEI crash that they've covered up in Toronto, right? The DEI pilot that went to a flight school that she paid for at the local airport somewhere, she crashed the plane and flipped it over. She was in the controls. And notice that leaked out, and then we haven't heard anything about that story. So, I mean, I'm sure there's DEI on all the airlines, but that one we know for a fact. And I've always liked Delta Airlines. I've always liked Delta. The planes are nice, and everything else. And I've got access to the Delta lounges at the airport, and that's all great and everything else. But I'm not going to fly. When they're bragging that they don't hire the best, that they diversify with DEI, that's crazy. That's crazy, especially after they just crashed a plane in Toronto. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, hey, Renee.
Yeah, you gotta read something, man. Harriet Tubman
Oh,
was
20 days
a
later.
freedom fighter. Now they're supposed to put her on money, and idiots like you are delaying the process. She's supposed to be on the 20, which would take your boy off the money, and that would be a good thing.
No, she is. No. First of all, it took you 3 days for that. A couple days ago, you called in. You didn't know who she was. Oh, then why didn't you say any of that when I asked you?
Because you don't listen. Because you're an idiot.
Who
Harriet Tubman was a long time ago.
Yeah. So now Harriet Tubman is going to be on the $20 bill, and this was. Well, I understand that, but she will be on it, and I'm going to actually when she's on the $20 bill, I'm going to buy a sheet of a few of them and keep them as a collectible. I'm looking forward to that. I think it's awesome. Yeah. Oh, I'm reading this great biography of Harriet Tubman. She's probably... Who's on the 20 now?
The guy that was killing all those Indians.
Yeah, he's a Democrat. His name's Andrew Jackson. He's one of you guys. He's a Democrat.
Those Dixiecrats turned into Republicans.
No, that's not true. But Andrew Jackson... And I'll tell you this. Harriet Tubman was a Republican.
Yeah, and all those Republicans are now Democrats.
All right, keep with that. Keep with the lies. Live in denial.
The Civil Rights Bill made them Democrats.
Mm-hmm. Every Republican voted for the Civil Rights Bill. Not every Democrat did, but every Republican did. No, I'm informed.
No, you're stupid.
What's it like for you living in Trump's America?
I'm living in occupied territory.
Yeah. Occupied territory? Harlem? What, you talking about the white people that moved in?
Native American land.
Then why do you live there?
Get out.
Then why are you living there then? If it's Native American land...
Look, my ancestors over here, stupid.
No, you can go to Africa if you wanted to.
Trillions of dollars in reparations.
Mm-hmm. You know, I'm glad you brought that up. You know, Stephen Miller this week has been talking about giving reparations to Americans who have been victimized by the illegals. I'm in support of that. That's an awesome idea that Stephen Miller has. Reparations to those that have suffered because of the illegals that you Democrats have brought here.
Andrew Johnson did to you, redneck. He gave you guys reparations and gave us the shaft.
Andrew Johnson was a Democrat slave owner.
Right, and he replaced Andrew.
What Republican owned a slave?
He replaced Lincoln, didn't he?
What Republican owned a slave?
Are you listening? Didn't he replace Lincoln?
He may have been involved in the plot to kill President Lincoln.
He was.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, take it. You know, listen. Yeah.
You know it.
No, you just don't like white people. So you project your racial. A lot of people don't like me. You project your hatred onto the rest of us.
No, you're a bigot, and I recognize it, and I see it.
Can you give me an example of what's my most recent bigotry I've spread on the program?
And you do it every day.
Well, then, what have I done it today yet?
Yeah.
All right, what did I do that was bigoted? What did I do that was bigoted today? What did I do today that was bigoted so far?
Well, one of the first things you do is assume that black people are Democrats because they are in favor of segregation, which is completely stupid.
You're in favor of segregation?
No, you are.
Give me a break. That's so stupid. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Me with the interracial family. I'm in favor of segregation. That's just so stupid. Why would you say something so stupid?
Dead. You know what they would do to you and that woman that you claim as your daughter? Not your daughter.
Okay. All right. I appreciate the call. I mean, you don't talk about people's kids. You know, he's embarrassed that he didn't know who Harriet Tubman was the other day. And I asked him, and it was dead air, okay? Now he read some Wikipedia entry, and he wants to act like he knew all about her. And it took him like at least 2 days, if not 3 days, to call back with that. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be right back.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Donna from Jupiter. I'm calling to share my great experience with Jupiter Joe. My husband and I started listening to you a few years ago, and that's when we learned about Jupiter Joe Thomas. We're seniors with no pension and collect Social Security.
How would you guys describe Renee in a word? In one word, how would you describe Renee from Harlem's Call? I'm not a coward. You can call me on the air and call me out. Broke trend. All the calls are screenless and unvetted. Unhinged, lunatic. Brainwashed. Angry, racist, yeah. Yeah. Bold, who said that?
Total confidence in him. My husband and I can't say enough good things about Jupiter Joe and his staff.
Thank you for your kind words.
Conservatives did not fight for the Confederacy.
I'm gonna call Joe Thomas. I'm going to give you
My
his number.
goodness.
It's a no-charge consultation, which you can take advantage of no matter where you're located. 561-743-0999.
I just think he's embarrassed that he didn't know who Harriet Tubman is, who's one of the most famous African Americans who ever lived.
This is Steve Kane.
You know.
I'm tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious, crispy onions.
If you're on hold, hang in there.
Succulent on the inside, everything homemade, nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
Gold is climbing to $3,000 an ounce. Right now, you're buying physical gold at a high. Consider buying gold stocks. They're still at extreme lows comparatively. Listen to the Ellis Martin Report on My Talk Radio weekdays at 8 a.m. on your True Oldies channel.
This is Mark Laporta, son of Tom Laporta and proud second-generation owner of Laporta Roofing. As a military veteran who served in the Army after 9/11, I brought the same dedication and discipline to our family business. At Laporta Roofing, we've been serving our community for nearly 4 decades, and we're committed to continuing that legacy of excellence. Our team specializes in all
We'll be back
types of
right after
roofing
this, guys.
systems, from shingles to tile, slate, metal, and flat roofs. We're the go-to
Is Renee
experts
from
for
Harlem?
family homes,
He says he is.
and condo
I haven't bothered to
associations.
check
What
into
sets us
it.
apart is our unwavering commitment to customer satisfaction. I've personally implemented systems to ensure you receive the best in customer service and workmanship. Don't miss out on our limited time offer for a free roof inspection. Call us now at 954-604-4602 or visit us at laportaroofing.com. Trust the experts who have been protecting homes like yours for generations. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. You know, I'm wearing a birthday gift that I just got yesterday that my wife got me. It's late because she ordered this quite some time ago, and it's been on back order for a few months. It's a new Trump hoodie, and it's pretty cool. You know, and it's from the official Trump store. And this, I think I have 2 other Trump hoodies, maybe 3, but this is my 3rd or 4th one. And I don't know what President Trump's material is. It's so comfortable. It's so nice. And it's a black hoodie with Trump written across it in gold, and it's about 4 sizes too big. Right? I'm gonna wash it today in hot water a whole bunch of times, and maybe it'll shrink. But do you guys know why this hoodie that my wife bought me months ago is like 3-4 sizes too big? I mean, it's falling off my body, and it's so long. I mean, you know, I could wear this naked and just have this on, and I'd be covered. It's so long. It's because I lost all that weight thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. My wife ordered this months ago, and it's been on back order, and she ordered this before I lost the 35 pounds thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I know, isn't it amazing? I know, it's great. I've lost all that weight. You can see it now. I mean, it's just so baggy, the shoulders, you know. I mean, my goodness. And, you know, with the Coastal Weight Loss Secret, this weight I lost it in the places I wanted to lose it, man. My face and neck. I go back to some of my old YouTube videos, and my face was like round. I didn't realize. My face and neck are now chiseled, but I lost all the weight on my stomach and my waist. I have a completely flat stomach. I have the body that I had when I was like 20 or 21 years old. And this sweatshirt I'm wearing, which would have fit me maybe even tight, but certainly perfectly a few months ago, is like 3-4 sizes too big. Listen, call Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I'm going to give you the number. When you call, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldies channel. No matter how much weight you want to lose, if you want to lose 20 pounds, 50, 100, 150 or more, give them a call. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightloss.secret.com. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. This is Richie.
Hey, Richie.
Listen, I want to correct you with, first of all, fake news that you fell for. And then I want to address Renee. My cousin is a senior captain for Delta Airlines, okay? And I fell for, just like you did, I fell for the same thing. I called him up immediately and said, one of your planes tipped over upside down. He said, and he told me exactly what the story is there. Delta hires, this is a private company. Delta has nothing to do with that except Delta pays them and puts their name on the plane because they feed into the United States.
Yeah, that's it's the commuter airline that crashed, wasn't it?
Yeah, they don't train their pilots, Delta. And Delta, and my cousin, by the way, didn't go to the military, and he said to me, like, 80% of the pilots up there are not military anymore because the military was short of pilots.
Yeah, I know, but when you and I were growing up, it was the other way around. You know what I mean? I don't like to fly. So what's the fake news I fell for?
Well, you fell for you said you told your daughter don't fly Delta, which I have to tell you, my cousin didn't go to the military. And it's captain.
Well, I don't know about your cousin. I mean, your cousin seems all right, but when I see Instagram people putting videos up bragging that they have all black crews, all female crews, all DEI crews, and it says Delta on the plane. It's Delta. I've seen the Delta videos too. I mean, your cousin's not going to badmouth his own airline, even to you.
He would. He's badmouthed his airline to me plenty of times.
All right, Richie, you can fly DEI Air all day and all night. I'm not going to.
That's not DEI Air.
Okay. All right.
About Renee, okay? Now, I'm not a racist, Renee, and I'm a white guy, and I look at everybody as the same. But you keep on talking about reparations. Let me tell you something. How many years, because of and you could say it's because of the white man, that the black people in this country for years, and not now, but years ago, they were like an underclass, and since then, the welfare that's been collected by the minorities in this country is the reparations.
Listen. This is what happened. Okay. Renee from Harlem was embarrassed the other day when he didn't know who Harriet Tubman was, and he's just embarrassed and humiliated. But he did educate himself a little bit about her, so that's a good thing. But that anger today was that. Now, Stephen Miller, I do support the reparations for victims of the illegals. But that's different than the slave reparations. That would be reparations directly to people that are alive, that have experienced it, that have suffered. There are the biggest benefactors of slavery are people like Renee from Harlem, because slavery was bad. I mean, it was god awful. This book I'm reading on Harriet Tubman is hard to read because it's so brutal. But Renee benefited from slavery. He wouldn't be in America if it were not for slavery, and we'd still be here. So the greatest benefactors of slavery today are indeed African Americans who are descendants of slaves, but there's no slaves alive. All right, Richie, appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. All right, you missed out. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yep, you're on the air.
Hey, how you doing? Okay, so, yeah, I just wanted to talk about a couple things you were on about, and where would you like to start? I was just maybe you can tell me I guess you want to talk economics first? I just want to talk a couple.
You called me. What's on your mind? What are you taking issue with that I brought up today?
I wasn't sure if you brought it up yet, but was it okay if I talked to you a little bit about tariffs?
Yeah, I brought it up. You can talk about tariffs. I brought that up today.
thing. Okay, so just, really quick, can you just tell me what, like, tariffs are? Like,
They're import taxes. They're import taxes. So if everybody knows what tariffs are. If you're bringing a good into a country, that country charges a tax to allow you to bring that good into their country.
Good, okay.
But I mean, what is this? The 4th grade? I mean, come on. This is a program for adults. Well, these are very trivial questions. Okay, go on.
Okay, so I just want to say, and you are in support of these, correct? Right?
Well, what I'm in support of is what Trump is in support of. You hear him use this term all the time: reciprocal tariffs. Now, what's a reciprocal tariff?
When you impose, or are you talking about when the country sets a tariff on us, correct?
What President Trump means with reciprocal tariffs, if a country has a 5% tariff on our goods, he's going to have a 5% tariff on their goods. If they have a 50% tariff on our goods, he's going to have a 50% tariff on their goods. And it's a mechanism to get them to reduce their tariffs to a reasonable level, and also for companies and manufacturers to move to the United States, which has been happening. So how can you be against that?
Okay. So the first thing I just want to start about is how you can go without saying that America is probably the richest country in the world.
That is true.
Everything we can.
That is true.
And but one thing I want to say is the whole idea of why other countries need to put tariffs on us, and is we actually have to put ourselves in front of them, And their industries aren't as strong as ours, right? I mean, look at Canada, for example. That whole.
It's not. Listen, it's not up to us to support these other countries.
Are they not our allies, though? Should we not make sure they're
Canada? No, they're not. Canada is not our ally. They have done nothing but screw us over since 1775.
Okay, but when you can point out examples like how they helped us, when they sent troops to Iraq for a war on terror.
Yeah, they sent they sent 100 guys. They sent a couple hundred guys. So what?
No, okay, good. But that was.
Now, I remember at the time you're talking about Operation Iraqi Freedom, and I remember that it was just a couple hundred guys. It was nothing. So what?
It was nothing, but they still were willing to put their lives on the line for the country. I don't think that can be overlooked. And then, when they, in our greatest moment of terror, like 9/11.
What are you Canadian? I don't hear a Canadian accent. Are you Canadian?
No.
It's Canada. What Canada sided with the Redcoats in the American Revolution, and they've been ripping us off for the last 100 years financially. At least since the end of the Second World War, we pay for their defense, their socialized health care. They've stolen a huge chunk of our auto industry and all kinds of other businesses and manufacturers. It's not up to us to support Canada. Canada's a first world country, and they're pretty rich. In Canada, what's a big thing in Canada? Canadians, a lot of them have 2 houses. They call the second house a cottage. Cottages are a big thing in Canada. I only have 1 house. I winter and summer in the same place. But in Canada, they all got cottages. It's a rich country, first world country. Even if it was third world, they're not our responsibility. They're not Americans. I mean, what is your income bracket? Nobody knows your name. What income bracket are you in?
I'm a full-time student, so
Oh, so you don't pay taxes. So when you're not paying tax, really, you pay income taxes? You don't. Nobody knows who you are. How much do you earn a year?
I'm currently out of work right now.
Okay, so you don't pay any taxes. You don't even pay payroll taxes. Okay, you're not paying taxes. When I was young like you, okay, and didn't pay taxes, I didn't mind any of that stuff because you got no skin in the game. Listen, April 15th was tax day. The day before, I had to send a big old check to the government for taxes. When you get out of college and you get a real job, what are you majoring in?
Neurobiology.
What? What kind of biology?
Neurobiology.
Neurobiology? What are you going to be, a doc?
Brain.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're going to make a lot of money. When you grow up and get out of school and you're a neurobiologist and you're making a few $100,000 a year, you're going to have an awakening. Okay? The reason that you support giving money to these people, because you got no skin in the game. You live off of mommy and daddy and student loans. You're unemployed, you pay no taxes, so you have no problem giving my money away and everyone who works for a living's money away. because you've got no skin in the game. That's why you're a socialist.
Well, okay. Me saying I'm a socialist is because I want other countries to be strong.
Other countries are not our problem. It's not us. It's not. Let me tell you, when you are working as a neurologist and you're paying taxes, real taxes, all of a sudden you're going to say, why am I giving all this money to the welfare queens? Why am I giving all this money to Canada? They're doing all this. You'll have a total awakening. You're right now, you're a child. You haven't grown up yet. You have the mind of a child. Your economic outlook is that of a child. What's that?
I mean, I just follow the Bible. That's not.
You follow the Bible? No, Jesus said, render unto Caesar, what is Caesar? Jesus was not into politics.
But he believes in helping people. We need it.
Well, we help people in our country.
And that's what welfare is for. Should we not be paying into that?
No. Welfare is for people that are down on their luck, not people that decide their whole life is going to be a retirement. But how old are you?
Yeah, I'm just 19.
19. Your brain's not even done developing yet. You got 5, 6, 7 years before your brain's even developing. You're a child. You think like a child. Your brain is underdeveloped and is not finished developing, and you just don't understand the way of the world. But you will.
But I was just trying to get to the point about how, for example, like the only reason they have the tariff on us is because they want to protect their agriculture industry. Like that was the big thing.
We don't need any agriculture from Canada. America is the breadbasket of the world. Listen, they are most of Canada is a frozen tundra. We have the best farmland year-round in this country than any other country in the world. In Europe, topsoil is measured in inches. In America, the United States of America, topsoil is measured in feet. We don't need Canada. Their land's frozen most of the year. No, we don't need them. All right, take care, man. Oh, my goodness. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. You're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott on the radio reminding you that your favorite oldies are back on the air right after 10 a.m. this morning on the True Oldies channel.
Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
Partly sunny today, highs in the low to mid 80s. A small craft advisory.
Do you guys agree with what I said to him? That he's a child and he supports giving all our money away because he doesn't have any skin in the game? Do you agree with that? Yes or no?
I-95 northbound, a crash blocking the center lane at Belvedere Road. Beeline Highway, the northbound right lane closed after Blue Heron Boulevard. Spot something on the roads, call the traffic tip line, pound 250, keyword West Palm traffic on runners.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. This April, it's rainy money in the poker room with new high hands every 15 minutes every day from 9 a.m. to midnight. And a chance to win $15,000 this Saturday. The Moneymaker Tour returns next week with over $500,000 in guarantees, 27 trophy events, live streaming, and buy-ins for all types of poker players. Poker room cash games, high hands, tournaments, bad beat jackpots, and more in the poker room. For more information, go to ppkennelclub.com.
This statewide pre-tariff Kia sale will be held at one location only, City Kia of Greater Orlando, right off the Florida Turnpike. Drive a little, save a lot. Breaking news, City Kia today. This is Raul Gomila. There are growing concerns about the new tariffs and what that means to your daily life, potentially raising your new car payment by $50, $100, or even higher. City Kia, a top volume dealer in the USA, has taken action. We have secured over 800 new Kias on the ground and on the way at pre-tariff pricing. Now is the time to act. Interest rates as low as 0%. Rebate discounts up to $17,000 on select models. Impacts are expected within 90 days. If you're planning on a vehicle purchase in 2, 5, or 8 months, the time to act is now. This statewide pre-tariff Kia sale will be held at one location only, City Kia of Greater Orlando, right off the Florida Turnpike. Drive a little, save a lot. See dealer for details. Visit us at citykia.com.
We're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Linda Green, I just received my 7th and 8th set of Mike Lindell sheets. This time we got flannel ones, which we had never had. I got one for my husband for Christmas.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my God. Especially with the cold days and nights you've been having the last few months in Florida. I got 2 more. I send them to my friends for Christmas now, and they just love them. Absolutely love them.
Yeah, I have the flannels too. You're like Goldilocks. They keep you the same temperature all night long.
Yes, so perfect. The guy just has a great product.
The thing with Mike Lindell sheets, all of them, the fitted sheet at the bottom fits perfectly on the mattress. Every other sheet, you can't get the four corners on. And it's almost impossible. Even after having them for years and washing them, I don't know how many times, they still fit perfectly.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
You're probably going to be on the next My Pillow commercial, just so you know, okay? Okay, just to let you know. You heard Lynn from Boynton. She loves her My Pillow sheets. Order yours right now at a huge discount. Use our promo code KANE at checkout at mypillow.com.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 48 years.
All right, we are back. Coming up on 39 minutes after the hour. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Way behind on our breaks as I went long with that kid. You know, those of you that listened to me for a long time, when I was younger, I was liberal on a lot of things. And what turned me around, I've mentioned this many times, and this is what's going to happen to that kid when he grows up. The first year I did my taxes, and I owed money. It was a little more than $3,000. I thought there was something wrong. I redid them. You know, I couldn't believe it. And that was a great awakening for me. And, you know, I paid my taxes on April 14th this year. You know, you heard a couple of these liberals that called in and said, oh, I filed mine in February. I filed mine months before that. Why do you think they filed their taxes in February? Because they don't pay taxes and they get a refund. That's why. When I used to get refunds like that, you know, your employer has to give you your W2, W4, whichever one, by January 31st by law. And I'd be there February 1st filing my taxes, man, because I was going to get a refund. But now when you actually got to pay, you know. I paid on the 14th because I didn't want to wait in line at the post office on the 15th. You go to the post office on April 15th, it is a line around the block to drive up mailboxes, inside, and everything else. People that actually pay taxes, they wait until the last minute because you're actually paying. People that don't pay and get refunds, they file February. Okay, that's just the way it is. Okay, now this is very exciting. President Trump has this is in the New York Post today. President Trump will return to Michigan on Tuesday. What is the date of this article? So that's next week. Yeah, this coming Tuesday to hold a rally in Macomb County to mark his first 100 days of his second term. This has been confirmed by the White House. The last time Trump swung through Michigan was on the eve of Election Day. He held his final rally in Grand Rapids. You know, and that was really a sad thing. You guys, you know, that rally that he did in Grand Rapids, I was always confident that Trump was going to win. Always. The last 4 years, guys. But in that rally in Grand Rapids, I remember seeing Eric Trump and some others, and they were like sad. Like, oh, this is the last rally. And I'm like, what are they doing? No. Don't be sad at the last rally. Be excited. But it was the last time that Trump will be campaigning for himself, and that's why. But this 100 Days rally is going to be exciting. Let's see here. President Trump is excited to return to the great state of Michigan next Tuesday, where he'll hold a rally to celebrate the first 100 days. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt announced, confirming a report from the Detroit News. That, you know, we haven't had a rally in a while, and I hope it brings out the cabinet. But, you know, I'll tell you, MAGA people are so pissed at Pam Bondi. If he brings out Pam Bondi and Cash, they could get booed by some MAGA. I wouldn't boo them, but some MAGA people will. No, this will be exciting. I'll be watching it. I wonder if the cable news will be carrying that rally. It's an important rally. It's a very important rally. The first 100 days. I still haven't gotten used to him being president again. It still is one of those things you got to pinch yourself every once in a while about. It's amazing that this is... You know, this is a Rocky story, a comeback after 4 years off where they shot him, tried to shoot him again, arrested him, got mugshots, fake trials, and all that. He breaking into his home and ransacking his house where he lives and in his kid's room and his wife's all that. And for him to be back in the White House is so amazing, but it's also crazy and insane at the same time, isn't it? It really is. But I'll tell you this. You know, all these people that are worried about Pam Bondi bringing charges. President Trump's got to get this settled, because if he doesn't bring these lawfare people to justice, he and his family for the rest of their lives are in danger. These people, they're going to be harassed forever. They need to be brought to justice, and they will. All right, now we're behind on our break schedule because I went long at the bottom of the hour for the aspiring neurologist. So we're going to take this break on time. Our number is toll free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. If you're on hold, hang in there. I want to talk, though, before we break, about, of course, Dr. Philip Appleton and his laser away pain treatment. He's rid me of pain 7 times. 3 times at my shoulder, my knee, arthritis. I mean, so many places I've forgotten. But the laser away pain treatment works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. Arthritis, bursitis, work injuries, sports injuries, strains and sprains, repetitive motion injuries, post-surgical swelling, neck and back injuries, knee conditions, tinnitus, sciatica, spinal stenosis, fibromyalgia, plantar fasciitis, rotary tears, herniated discs, acute pain, chronic pain, any type of pain I've ever heard of, and I'm learning about new pains all the time. It works. Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself. There are no injections, no drugs, no surgery, no downtime, and no appointment necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain, just like I've done 7 times. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. All right, let's check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How are you?
Great. What do you have for us this morning?
Well, here we are coming up on the end of April. A lot of people have made their summer vacation plans, and so it's going to be travel time. I'm sure the airports are going to be busy, and the thing is, one of the things that makes estate planning urgent for people is travel. We get it all the time. Hey, we're traveling here, we're going there, we're doing this, and we want to make sure everything is up to speed with our estate plan, just in case, God forbid, anything happens. I mean, my God, we hear things about these, about stuff dealing with aircraft almost every day. In fact, unfortunately, the crash that happened in Boca Raton happened like less than a minute away from our office.
Yeah, I noticed that. I know. That was crazy. Were you there at the office when that happened, Barry?
Actually, I was not.
Oh, I bet they heard it in your office.
They did. They felt the ground shaking from it. I mean, it was really bad.
I saw the smoke from my house. I couldn't believe it. Oh, but anyway, you never know. And that was a whole family, right? Grandpa, dad, and a daughter.
Yeah, very tragic. I understand they were going off to a look at a college.
Yeah, Florida State, I think. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So anyway, just we hear all these things, and it's a very safe way of travel. However, you hear things from time to time, and that's why you just want to be prepared. You want to plan ahead. Make sure that you don't have to worry about, it's one less thing to worry about, to make sure that you have everything set up the way you want, because you never know, as you've heard me say, we don't have an expiration date on our forehead, so we don't know when that time's going to come, and, while, like I said, travel's safe, you never know what can happen, and so that's why it's a good idea to make sure that you have everything set up before you make your big travel plans for the...
Absolutely. And, with the Siegel Law Group, it's always a no-charge consultation. If you mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the program, and no matter where you're located in the state of Florida, the Siegel Law Group can help. Here's the number, toll-free, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. That's 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, take care.
All right, thank you so much, Brian.
All right, we are back. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Dave from Detroit. And is Trump going to hold a rally, a non-union plan, pretending to be union plan again, or is it actually going to be a union plan?
I don't know, and who cares? I mean, what are you, a union guy? I mean, unions are awful.
No, he pretended to be at a union plant for his rest.
I'm not familiar with that. Now he may have been mistaken. He may have been mistaken.
You know.
Yes.
You know, your low rated show is
Low rated. If it's low rated, why do you watch and call and listen? It's entertaining. Oh, okay, so it's good. All right, yeah. So you like the show and you're addicted to it. But let's get back to the unions. Okay? Unions have really, what is the last time a union has done something good for this country's workers?
it brought up the wages and the.
That was 100 years ago. That was I'm not talking about 100 years ago. I'm talking about now. No. I said what? What are you? Oh, really? I'm nothing. Isn't this nice? I asked you the last time they did something, and I asked you the last time the unions did something good for this country. You gave me an example from about 100 years ago. Can you give me something that they've done that helped workers in this century?
They have brought the living wages for union workers up to $35.
No, what they've done is, what the unions have done, no, not in this century, what the unions have done is moved manufacturing to places that don't have unions. As an example, I was watching a local news story from one of the Los Angeles news stations a few days ago. And there's movies and television shows are not filming in Los Angeles, in California anymore. They're going to other countries. They're going to Georgia. They're going to Florida. Why do you think film and television production, they're going to Bulgaria, has left California and is going to other places? Why?
Because we are in a Walmart world.
No, not a Walmart world. I don't know what that means. No, it's because of unions. It's because of unions. Unions and high taxes. So unions destroy business, destroy industry.
Unions are great for the workers.
Not if you don't have a job. All right, take care. Appreciate the call. Oh, my goodness. You know, I think that guy's one of those S&M guys, you know, that's into humiliation. So I think he gets some kind of pleasure when he goes, shut up, shut up. Just a bizarre dude, I tell you. I love these people that have all these insults for the show, but they listen every single day. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Bill from San.
Oh, hey, Bill.
You mentioned on your ride-in this morning about who you think would be the first to get arrested.
Yes. Well, this is what I said. Not who you wish would be the first to get arrested by Pam Bondi and Cash Patel and Bongino. Who do you think will be the first round?
All involved in Crossfire Hurricane.
Well, that would be Comey. That would be Comey.
And then Fry, Attorney General Barr. I mean, the list goes on. I just think that I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah, that's a good place to start. There's a lot of good places to start, but Crossfire Hurricane was awful. You know what they're going to do if they arrest I'm going to tell you what they're going to do. If they start arresting the Crossfire Hurricane people, do you know who the defendants are going to lay all the blame on?
No.
I'm going to guess. I'm going to predict John McCain, because he's dead. If you remember, Christopher Steele gave the fake dossier to John McCain. John McCain gave it to Comey. So if they do that, they're all going to say John McCain was behind the whole thing because he's dead.
Well, I just think that's a good. That's taking time too.
Yeah.
A lot of time.
I would love to see J. Edgar Comey get arrested, though. He's a bad guy. I mean, he tried to shake down President Trump with that dossier.
I'd like to see Barr get arrested too.
Let me tell you, if I were doing this, my first arrest would be Letitia James and Fannie Willis and her gigolo boyfriend. That's where I would start because that's what.
Case though.
Yeah, she's committed bank fraud with the mortgages, and Letitia and Fannie were also colluding with Jack Smith and the Biden White House. We know Fannie Willis's gigolo boyfriend met with Biden's White House counsel at the White House. So that's federal. Yeah, that's federal.
That too. I'd be very happy with that. I mean, there's just a long list, but
But I'm telling you, it is going to happen, and I think it'll be more than one person when they first come in. I believe that they want to do a perp walk. All right, appreciate the call from Sanford, Florida. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Bob from Jupiter.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, have you been watching the masterful job the Trump administration is doing, dripping this information out on that Venezuelan Prende Uruguay guy?
El Salvadorian. Yes, Garcia.
They're dripping this information out. They probably have a month's worth of this stuff, and it comes out every day or two. Another fact about this guy, about what a crumb he was, and what a bad, evil person he is, and it just makes the Democrats look so.
Well, if you notice this week, we've gotten a lot of liberal calls, and they really want to talk about, for the most part, anything but the Maryland man.
The Maryland man, right? So it's amazing how Trump suckered.
Well, yesterday, the news story yesterday was that car that he was driving in Tennessee was owned by a convicted human trafficker. Yeah.
And he faked that he couldn't speak English. And,
Yeah, that's right.
Then the day before was Trump with the picture with the fist that had his picture had a tattoo of M13. Right?
Which is a confession. No, it's good. But, you know, the Democrats are so deep into it, they can't walk it back now.
Yeah, but there's so much more to come because what's his work record like, and there's so much more. And where are his neighbors? And I'm sure there's a million more problems.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate the call. It's everything you said is very true. And you know, I did see a good story today about the Democrats that I'm glad the Democrats are doing something. I'm glad they're doing. I was reading yesterday and today. There's in the liberal media. And this is about Democrats. So you can. That Democrat Party leadership are organizing together to push David Hogg out of that vice chair of the DNC. And let me tell you something. The first time I saw David Hogg on television, talking about issues was during that awful incident in Parkland. I knew he was a bad guy. And I truly hope that the Democrats unseat him from that position because he is a I think he's a scary guy. David Hogg. You listen to the way he talks, and he's bad. All Democrats are bad. Okay, there's no good Democrat but he's really bad. And because of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas tragedy, a lot of people don't want to stand up to him because then he thought, I survived a massacre. He wasn't in Building 12. That was the freshman building. I don't know where he was, but he wasn't in there. I don't want to take the experience away because it's a dangerous thing, but he wasn't in that building where the massacre happened. But they don't want to challenge him because of that. And I'll tell you one thing I've noticed. The David Hogg controversy has been going on pretty hard for about a week. And in the last few days, it's been elevated. I haven't seen one of the other Parkland kids speak. I don't know what happened. The bald girl, the other guy, I don't know what happened to those other kids. I mean, they're around, but none of them are coming out in his defense. The press aren't going to interview him. And, his dad's an FBI guy. That's why he got so much access and prominence. And so he's got a lot of connections. He's very well connected. But what I find scary about him, when he went to Harvard or Yale. I think he went to Harvard. And I saw an interview with him when he was in Harvard. And I mentioned this at the time. And he said he was taking a class called The History of American Right-Wing Extremism. And I thought, oh my goodness, that's a class? And the end of the book for that class is Trump and MAGA. And someone who's being educated in a course at an Ivy League called the History of Right-Wing Extremism in America is someone that you don't want anywhere near politics. I mean, that's pretty scary. I hope when they cut the funding from Harvard that class gets canceled if it's still in existence. But these are, all this money that's going to Harvard and Yale and these other schools, the reason they're getting the money, it's these are deep state operations where they brainwash and educate the future leaders of our country at these Ivy Leagues. That's why they get so much government money. All right, our number 1-888-465-2631. I'll bring up some new issues after the top. Oh, there you go. He was that guy was good. He we hit the dump button there. He was saying that before I picked up the phone just so it would be out there live. If you are, I can't say one of the words. He said he called me a Nazi and said I'm gay. Those kind of cancel each other out. The Nazis, they don't accept gay people. You cannot be a Nazi and at least openly gay, okay? What I don't understand, I really don't understand, are people like that. I'm used to it because I've been dealing with this my whole life. But I've never understood these people. These are like grown men that call the show and say stupid things like that. Like the 19-year-old kid whose brain hasn't finished developing. I expect that. But that's like a grown man. Do you hear his voice? He's like at least in his 50s. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show. Oh, my goodness. The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. My name is Brian Craig. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. We'll take our break for the top of the hour and be right back. I got some more stories to get to and your calls after this.
Partly sunny today, highs in the low to mid 80s. A small craft advisory remains in effect. Tonight's low right around 70 degrees, and tomorrow it's more sunshine with a high of 85.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
There's a crash I-95 northbound at Belvedere Road, blocking the right lane. A backup on the turnpike northbound north of Boynton Beach Boulevard. Spots on Montgomery roads, call the traffic tip line. Bound 250, keyword West Palm traffic. I'm Ron Bruce. Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. This Sunday, PBKC features South Florida's premier sports car and memorabilia show with amazing vendors and a wide variety of all your favorite collectibles. Admission and parking are free. Don't miss PBKC's Kentucky Turkey Fest Saturday, May 3rd. Enjoy the delicious trackside barbecue, live music, turkey hat contest, mint juleps, and more. The paddock will feature its incredible turkey buffet. For more information or to buy tickets, go to pbkennelclub.com.
This statewide pre-tariff Kia sale will be held at one location only, City Kia of Greater Orlando, right off the Florida Turnpike. Drive a little, save a lot. Breaking news, City Kia today. This is Raul Gomila. There are growing concerns about the new tariffs and what that means to your daily life, potentially raising your new car payment by $50, $100, or even higher. City Kia, a top volume dealer in the USA, has taken action. We have secured over 800 new Kias on the ground and on the way at pre-tariff pricing. Now is the time to act. Interest rates as low as 0%. Rebate discounts up to $17,000 on select model. Tariff impacts are expected within 90 days. If you are planning on a vehicle purchase in 2, 5, or 8 months, the time to act is now. This statewide pre-tariff Kia sale will be held at one location only, City Kia of Greater Orlando, right off the Florida Turnpike. Drive a little, save a lot. See dealer for details. Visit us at citykia.com.
When you need lab work, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Go to any lab test now at Boca and any lab test now at Coral Springs. Their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order.
Yeah, if you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. We'll be back shortly. If you're on hold, hang in there.
radio station West Way, Dr. Mitch Cortez, an expert in hormone replacement therapy, is here to help you reclaim your youth. Hormone replacement therapy is all natural and can restore your hormones so they work in your body. You'll feel younger, have more energy, and even get your sex drive. And for women, hormone replacement pellet therapy can completely stop and reverse the signs and symptoms of menopause. No more loose wings, better sleep, and no more night sweats. Call Dr. Cortez for a free consultation today at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
Hello, this is Mike.
We'll be back after this commercial.
I've been in business for 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane.
All right, Carlos on hold, stand by. The third hour. But hey, you know, Mike, I noticed I went to the men's room before the show. They tore out the toilets and the same. Where are you supposed to go to the? You got to go to another floor. I can't go to another floor during a commercial break. Oh my goodness! Can I just use the ladies' room and identify as a woman? Did they tear the women's room apart too? Oh my goodness! They're remodeling the VIP men's room. I went in there. The sinks are gone, the toilet's gone, and the urinal is filled with drywall. So we have to go upstairs. You know, you can't go upstairs. All night on the weekend. Better have some long songs ready. All night on the weekend. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the... Yeah, go ahead. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, my name's Mike. I'm from Palm Beach Gardens.
Hey.
A quick comment. You were talking about David Hogg.
Mm-hmm.
I was in between jobs. I was working at the mall, Palm Beach Mall.
Mm-hmm.
And this lady comes in to buy something. I won't name the name of the store. But anyway, she hands me a card, and I forget her first name. I recognize the last name as Hogg. That was not a name, but I didn't put it together with the shooters, you know, the victim stuff. But she had right in the middle, it said David's mom. I said, that's a very unusual credit card, you know, first name David's mom. And
No, did it really say that?
I swear to God.
Oh.
I don't normally call in the shows or anything like that because I enjoy the entertainment, but she was just like such a snot about it when I said, well, I don't even know who David Hogg is, and I mean, it was like
I don't know. You're wait a minute. You're working in a retail store. You have a customer comes in and then you start insulting them about the name on their credit card. That doesn't sound like the right thing to do.
No, honestly, I was always complimented on my customer service.
Well, that was an example of poor customer service. All right, but hey, listen, I appreciate the call. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. Oh, you just made it. What's on your mind?
My name is Sean.
Yes, Sean.
Calling from upstate New York.
Mm.
I want your take. I want like your overview on what is going on with the other side in the way of just the denial, you can't even talk to them, they flip out.
Well, you got to give me a more specific example. Like, give me an issue, or what are you talking about specifically?
Well, here's the one thing that took me by surprise. The older generation of Democrats and the way they're behaving at the protests is really kind of shocking to me.
Well, when I went to the, a few weeks ago, like about a month ago, I went to this Tesla protest, and I made a YouTube video about it. You can see it online, it's had over 100,000 people that watched the video. And most of the people were old and gay. And you can tell, I mean, they were, they had rainbows on and stuff, and they were, and you can tell. So there's just what it shows you. It's a good thing. It shows you that the young in the old days, if you went to any type of protest, that was a liberal protest. It would be filled with young people, and now it's filled with old senior citizens. That means that young people are MAGA. There's been a big change in this country. Young people are MAGA for a whole bunch of reasons. But, yeah, the Democrats have lost the young people. And they're not going to get them back anytime soon.
I never looked at it at that angle.
Well, all right, I appreciate the call. I mean, if you look, if you look at Trump, he made being a Republican cool, right? James O'Keefe, James O'Keefe is one of the best investigative journalists this country has ever had. And it's been many years since he does stories all the time, James O'Keefe. It's been many years since he's had a story that turned into, well, justice. But this is a new America now, run by good people. Did you see what his latest story is? This is amazing. This is in the Gateway Pundit. The O'Keefe Media Group on Wednesday, if you're on hold, hang in there. The O'Keefe Media Group on Wednesday released undercover video of a Defense Department branch chief, I'm not even sure what that is, but it sounds important, his supervisor, attacking President Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. He's a Department of Defense branch chief. He called President Trump illegitimate and vowed to resist him in everything he does. This is really amazing, this story. He's 44 years old. No, he said Hegseth is only 44 years old, insanely young and unfit to lead. The same guy who tried to overthrow the country, like truly setting us down on a path of dictatorship. He's illegitimate. And he's talking about Trump. He's terribly immoral, breaking every norm. We're going to resist him in everything he does. He says, I'm a very patriotic person. I've never been less patriotic. He then attacked Pete Hegseth, said, ultimately, Hegseth is my boss, but this is insane. I actually know Pete Hegseth, and this is so crazy. Like, that's not a good reflection on me. That's a bad reflection on Trump. Like, nobody I know should be the Secretary of Defense, he said. He said, speaking of Pete Hegseth, he says he's insanely young to be the part. Like, he wasn't that high up in the military. He used to be in the D.C. National Guard. He was a major. Obama had a defense secretary who was an enlisted man in the service. When asked about his opinion about Trump, he said the worst thing about him is his other lack of moral principle. The second worst thing about him is how stupid he could be. You know, these guys, I mean, it really tells you, and there's video of this. What they do is they set them up on dates, either with guys or girls, whether they're straight or gay. And these guys sing like canaries to impress their date, and they say all these things. And James O'Keefe has dropped dozens of stories like this over the last few years, and it's in the news like this in the Gateway Pundit, and then you don't hear about it again. Trump and Pete Hegseth are going to be all over this. This guy's out. And they're not just going to fire him. They're going to investigate him and find out if he's got a resistance cell at the Pentagon, and they're going to find out that he probably does, and there's going to be some justice for the first time in a long time from one of the great, incredible stories that James O'Keefe breaks. This is a huge story. I love it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brother Brian.
Hey, IB, what's up?
You know, David, let's not forget about him wanting to compete with Mike Lindell when Mike Lindell, was.
I don't remember. I just, this is what I know, okay? He's a kid, and he's a narcissist, and he's just a bad guy to be in a power position, even with the Democrats. You know, there's a lot of people that I don't mind being in prominent positions in the Democrats, right? Like AOC, because but this Hogg's different.
Well, what I was saying is that the mindset, the idea of competing with Mike Lindell, he was trying to make his own pillow. He was trying to market.
Oh yes, yeah, he was going to have his own pillow. Yeah, he had a name for it too. Yeah, he was going to compete. I forgot about that. Yeah.
They wanted to bankrupt, and that's how it started. They wanted to bankrupt Mike Lindell. Okay. Anyway, so listen, Bongino's not going to let us down. Okay. And the reason I say that is this guy has already been in hearings, and so he knows what's going on. And he's not going to want to disappoint himself
There's obviously something's going to happen. We just have to do it.
Listen, we're just getting to the 100 days. People got to be patient. These things take time. And by the way, there could be a whole bunch of sealed grand jury indictments that we don't know about yet, too. That would not shock me at all. All right, IB, appreciate the call. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Brenda.
Yeah, Brenda.
I have a couple of questions.
Okay, speak up so I can hear them better.
Okay. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been involved with Trump for a very, very long time, since the 80s.
Oh, okay. In what capacity? What were you doing with Trump in the 80s?
I actually watched everything. I've been following him for a very long time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
I was a big fan of his Apprentice.
Oh, yeah, I love that. You know, you can watch The Apprentice on Amazon Prime. They're releasing a season a week. They may have them all up by now.
I know. I still watch them. I'm totally dedicated because of his sternness in the fact that you should appreciate what you represent. So if you went to school and you got an education, then you need to be applying your education. So his point of you're fired, it means something in the generation today.
Well, you know, I'll tell you this. The thing about The Apprentice, okay, that show was formed around him. And, you know, this thing that they're trying to promote that he doesn't know about economics. He's a leading economist. And the reason that The Apprentice was formed is because he was recognized as one of the most respected businessmen in the history of America's greatest city, New York City. And because he's a top money guy, they created that show around him. He's like Mr. Monopoly. So to try to promote this thing that he doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to tariffs and finances and the economy is insane. But anyway, you said you had a couple of questions. What was it? What were the questions?
My question was, one, IRS. Okay. So, if IRS, okay, so we do our taxes every single year. Our accountant died last year.
Oh my goodness.
Papers, and we wound up not getting our papers back until November.
Oh my goodness.
So we wound up filing our taxes late.
Uh-oh.
Okay? They charged us.
Well, listen, this is kind of outside. It's not open phones today. I mean, if you got something that's relevant, I'm late for the break. So did you have something that's relevant? No one cares. I mean, people aren't really interested in your own personal tax problems.
Is it going to change?
Well, what President Trump has talked about this, and people in his administration, what Trump's goal is to cut as much government spending as possible and fund the country on the import taxes, on the tariffs, and not have taxes on those who make under $150,000 a year. And by the way, that'd be single earners. So married couples, it might be $300,000. So that means virtually almost everybody. That means 97% of the population, maybe even more, I don't know, wouldn't be paying income taxes. That's awesome. And I would be very much in support of that. I'd love it. You know, I mean, I have to, and I'm not alone in this, a lot of people do. Every week, I have to put money aside for taxes. Every week. You know, and it sucks. Okay? And, you know, because I'm an independent business person, so I've got to do two things. Not only do I have to pay income taxes, I have to pay my payroll taxes. So I've got to, and you know, I hate it. And I put money aside each and every week for that, you know, and that's the way, you know, and people, I talk to these liberals that don't pay taxes, they just don't understand. And they think somebody like you or me are rich, and we're not rich.
Because they don't want to apply their debt, and so that's why we are in so much debt.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yes. I mean, I will tell you this. I appreciate the call, by the way. Thanks for the call. You know, here's the thing. I I've been very smart with I don't have any credit. I have 0 credit card debt. I don't have $1 on a credit card. You know, I don't have debt at all. My biggest expense and the only debt I have are my taxes every quarter, and you know, and I know everybody, you know, you have to pay your taxes. You know, I understand that, but liberals don't. So they just don't have an understanding of what people are talking about. That's why this new tax bill is so important. You know, the big, beautiful bill that they're talking about. It's going to have the no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, and no taxes on Social Security. And when the tippers of our, and the overtimers, but mainly the tippers, when people that work in the tip economy, which is bigger than ever, right? Because you got the Uber drivers, the Lyft drivers, Uber Eats, Door Dashers, all those people get tips too. Okay, even the Starbucks worker, there's so many people in the tip economy. When they see how much more money they have, because there's no taxes on tips, they're all going to be red-pilled. Instantly. And really, it may be the most significant tax cut in the history of the country, because as I've been telling you during the campaign and now, those people never get tax breaks. When they reduce taxes, they change the tax brackets, but that group of people don't pay income taxes, they only pay payroll taxes. It's the first time that the tip workers are getting a tax break. And it's going to be huge. There's going to be a great red pilling in this country like you haven't seen. All right, listen, let's take our first break of the third hour. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott on the radio, reminding you that your favorite oldies are back on the air right after 10 a.m. this morning, right here on the True Oldies channel.
My name is Dr. Phil Appleton. I'm a chiropractic physician. Over the years, I've treated thousands and thousands of patients from bursitis, tendonitis, sciatica, stenosis, neuropathy, tears, post-surgery, pre-surgery, herniated disc, gout, bone on bone. If you can name the pain, most likely I've treated it over the years. Most of my practice is laser with robotic lasers. They're robots which rotates constantly around the area, where most lasers do not do that. So if you want to come in for a free consultation, as always here, welcome at Appleton Chiropractic. I'm here 6 days a week. I personally do all the treatment. You can bring your MRIs, you can bring your x-rays, you can bring your CAT scans, whatever you have, bring for me to look at. I would do that free of charge.
Call Dr. Appleton right now for that free consultation. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. If you're a homeowner with a homeowners association and your roof is old and compromised, you need to call Tom Paulette at Laporta Roofing. Laporta Roofing has been in the roofing and construction business since
The thing with Mike Lindell sheets, all of them, the fitted sheet at the bottom fits perfectly on the mattress. Every other sheet, you can't get the four corners on, and it's almost impossible. Even after having them for years and washing them, I don't know how many times, they still fit perfectly.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
You're probably going to be on the next My Pillow commercial, just so you know, okay? Because okay, just to let you know. You heard Lynn from Boynton. She loves her My Pillow sheets. Order yours right now at a huge discount. Use our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout at mypillow.com.
Alrighty, we're back. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. This will be a short segment because I went long in that last break, which I don't know how I did with that lady boring call, but I did. There's a couple quick stories, though, that I want to mention in this short segment. You know, people in the media, they just don't, even in conservative media, they don't see the hook. You know, there's a new story today, AOC and new scandal, and there's variations of this story, AOC and Bernie Sanders in a scandal. And they're on this, in the oligarch tour, whatever it is, this, you know, and they're flying around in a private jet. Oh, look, they're against the rich, but they're in a private jet. That's not the hook of that story. She is the authoress of the Green New Deal. And in this tour they're doing, they talk about a lot of garbage, but a lot of it has to do with climate change, right? Now, if you believe what AOC and Bernie Sanders are saying on this tour, human activity will make the earth incapable of supporting human life as we know it. When that idiot first went to Congress, AOC, she said that we had 11 years. She's in her third term, right? Or is it her fourth term by now? How long has she been in Congress? 6 years, 8 years? So we've got, what, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years left? So this is the hook to that story. If you believe that human activity will make the planet incapable of supporting life as we know it because of pollution, wouldn't you at least jet pool, like take a commercial jet, or maybe even zoom in on a big jumbo screen and not pollute? That's the hook, not that they're on a private jet. You know, and I see there's story after story on this, and it's all the same nonsense. Now, this other one, this is quick because I can't listen to her too long. Michelle Obama and her failing podcast. Now, her podcast that she does with her weirdo brother, have you seen her podcast at all? I watched the first episode. Her brother is just a strange dude. Or something. I mean, he's just a very weird person. But there's no one listening to her podcast. I did bring this up a couple weeks ago. The reason no one is listening to her podcast is because Michelle Obama never has been popular as has been promoted. And because Doge and Elon shut down USAID, if USAID were still in effect, right? Her podcast would be the #1 most listened to podcast in the world, and it would be beating Joe Rogan, who's #1. Because they would be spending money for the bots to drive up the numbers. But because USAID's gone, they don't have the resources, and she's not going to use her own money, right, to pay for the bots to bring up the numbers. And Michelle Obama's failing podcast, that's her true level of popularity. And, you know, they've been telling us for years, all these Republicans, you know, if they don't watch out, Michelle Obama's going to run. And if she runs, she's just going to, nobody likes her. And if you listen to her podcast, she's as likable as Hillary Clinton. She really is. And I don't say that just because I don't like the Obamas. She's not likable. But she is also, she's doing something that is desperate. She's trying to save her failing podcast. Maybe she's doing it for her brother, who is her brother a drag queen? He looks like he could be a bad one. I don't know. He's just a strange looking guy. I don't know. I know he got on a pro basketball team, but he never played. I don't know. But she may be trying to do this for her brother. But her podcast is failing so bad, she pulled out a race card on her most recent episode to try to get black people to listen. Let me pull this up. I wasn't going to play this because I don't like listening to Michelle, but I want to point this out since nobody else is. This is Michelle Obama on her most recent podcast episode with her weirdo brother.
Articulate as black women our pain because it's almost like nobody ever gave us permission.
Okay, now Michelle Obama was First Lady of the United States for 8 years. She's a millionaire, I don't know how many times over. They've got a palace on the ocean, right? You know, she's always been a woman of means. Remember, her best friend in high school was Jesse Jackson's daughter, and Jesse Jackson was a big deal then. Okay? She's never wanted for anything. She's always gotten what she's wanted. She's one of the most famous women in the world. What pain does she have? I don't know. Maybe there's something with that chef story with her husband, but what pain does she have?
Articulate as black women our pain because it's almost like nobody ever gave us permission to do that. And does anyone care? Yeah, there's nothing care. There's that part.
I think we would care.
Oh my goodness. Michelle Obama's pain.
If we knew.
That's her brother.
Oh, yeah, and we have to ask ourselves, the men in our lives is, why wait to be asked?
Oh, yes. Well, tell us about your pain and suffering, Michelle Obama. I'm interested in hearing. You know, this is a desperate call to try to get black people to listen to her podcast. This goes, I used to watch American Idol the first couple years it was on. Okay, they've exhausted the talent pool of America many years ago, but there was this one year where this girl, she was it was the week where they were going to pick the final 10, and this is when American Idol was a big deal. The final 10 get to go; they would go on the concert tour, so that you make the money, right? And she had a bad performance. Ryan Seacrest interviews her, and all she says is Obama. Obama. She kept saying Obama. No matter what Ryan Seacrest said, she said Obama. And I talked about it on the show at the time. And I said, that is the African-American international call sign of help. Okay? I sucked. I had a bad performance. But black people, please call in and vote. Okay? I mean, and that's what Michelle's doing. Her podcast is failing. No one's listening to it. She doesn't want to cancel it and be humiliated. And so she's playing the race card now. But I would be very interested if she did an episode. I would listen to this episode if Michelle Obama did an episode talking about her pain and her suffering. I would love to hear her whine about the problems that she has. She doesn't understand she is the problem, right? Her and her creepy husband. All right, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
Morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott on the radio reminding you that your favorite oldies are back on the air right after 10 a.m. this morning on the True Oldies channel.
Now, here's the True Oldies weather forecast.
Partly sunny today, highs in the low to mid-80s, a small craft advisory.
Oh, hey, what's going on?
I've heard of those places. Yeah. How's it going?
How you been? How's it going?
Happy, what is it, Thursday?
Yeah. Is there anything in particular you want me to bring up?
Yeah, whatever you want to talk about. Doesn't matter.
All right.
You know me.
Okay.
Which one do you want? This one? Or
Which
that
one is it, Mike? Do you know?
Should be. It should be that one.
Find out.
We checked it earlier. Find out. Fine. You knew I was coming in. You got the highest of everybody here.
Yeah. Always make sure it's high, you know.
That's cool. How you been?
Good, good.
The Trump shirt, the Trump hat.
Yeah.
The Trump pants, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I have some Trump pajama bottoms.
Do you really?
Yeah, someone gave me.
How'd the cruise go?
Oh, it was great.
Have I seen you since then?
No, it was great. We had a great time. Yeah. Our next one's about sold out already.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Once a year.
And it's already almost sold out?
Yeah, the next one's in next March, I believe. I can't remember the date of it.
That's really cool. Yeah, I just thought we talked.
Okay.
What's going on?
I got a couple ideas I'll bring up to you.
Good. I was just telling Vic we were looking at space across the way in building E in here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I don't know if we're going to get it. We'll see what happens. I maybe got an offer. We'll see. Rent is
Oh, so you can meet with, you want to move from there to here?
Yeah, my office is on PJ now, which is It's good, but I'm looking for more space because my daughters have one office they're sharing.
Oh.
So it's getting old fast, you know.
Yeah.
They're on one side, I'm on the other side. I mean, like,
Yeah.
this is not conducive for working.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway. Oh, there's Mike.
There we go.
Cool.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show.
All right, and we're back. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show. Joe Thomas is here with us today. How you doing, Joe? You know, hardly a day goes by. I don't get like 3 of these callers on the line. How's the 401ks? Look at the mark. You know, your clients, they don't worry about any of that.
No.
You know, I mean, you know, I don't know why people put themselves through the stress of these ups and downs of the market. I bet people must have heart attacks over this.
So I was listening to your show last week, and I heard you guys say, the market always comes back.
Mhm.
Yes, that's generally true. The market does generally come back, but not everything comes back, and that's the problem. And if you're of a certain age, over 65, it's harder to wait.
Yeah.
You know?
You don't have the time to build it back up.
Right. So what the annuity does is gives you peace of mind. You know, I used to hear these guys advertise sleep at night protection. It sounds so goofy to me. You know what? Now that I'm 65, sleep at night protection is pretty cool. I don't have to worry about my money, you know?
Well, I don't. If you're 25, you should be in annuities. I mean, I don't know why anyone. See, now again, I'm not a financial expert. You know, don't take any financial advice from me. You want to call Joe Thomas, but I kind of believe the stock market's more for rich people. They can, you know, have people that can afford to go to the casino.
Yeah.
You know, and annuities, it can be is for high income earners and wealthy people as well. But for people that work hard for their money and don't like these ups and downs, annuities, perfect.
Yeah, and there's a lot to it. You know, it's not money in general is difficult. I think the biggest problem everybody has out there is they put too much money in one thing.
Yeah.
You've got to be very well diversified.
Yeah.
You know, have some money in the market, have some money in annuities, but nobody teaches you that.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Well, you know, the thing about annuities, before I met you, I've heard of annuities, but I never really knew what they were, and I didn't understand them. So tell people a little bit that may not have heard us talk before in detail. What is an annuity? How does it work? And why is their money safe?
So an annuity is an insurance product, not an investment product. So it's issued by only an insurance company can issue an annuity.
Yep.
And it works just like your pension does in the old days when you had a pension. And it's going to guarantee you income in the future. And how is it guaranteed? Well, it's guaranteed by the assets that the insurance company has.
That's right.
You buy homeowners insurance through an insurance company. You buy car insurance, you know, all of the long-term care insurance, whatever insurance you buy, same thing. You're insuring your money with an insurance company through an annuity.
Yeah, and the annuity gives you guaranteed income for the rest of your life.
It does. We have that option. I call it longevity insurance. It's making sure that if you live a long life, you never run out of money.
Well, you know, when you retire, people are retiring and living a lot longer than they used to. So somebody might retire and work a little long and retire at 67 or even 70, but they have 25, 30 years ahead of them still, and the prices are still going to go up.
So like we talked about many times, you know, you got people in their 70s and they still have to work.
Yeah.
And everybody's scrimping and saving, and it's tough. So what these annuities do for you basically is give you income. And if you can equate that to buying something that's going to give you income, not investment, but income, once you get that, you can understand how this works.
And it's a revenue stream that's coming in, so it becomes part of you've got whatever you have, right? Your Social Security, maybe you have a pension.
Yep.
Who knows? Maybe you've got some rental properties. You're getting money, and you're getting that money. And how can people get their income? Is it like a once a year thing? Is it a monthly? How does it work?
So we can do annually. Most people do it monthly, so they can take care of their bills and they know it's coming in. You know what's funny? This is really funny. I was thinking about this on the way in, Brian. Most people, if you ask them what their Social Security is going to be, they know it to the penny.
Yes.
I'm going to get $2,752 when I turn 67.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? An annuity works exactly the same way. It's a guaranteed amount, and it can't go down.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
You know what it is.
I have a friend that has an annuity, and he waits until, I don't know what time of the year, but what he uses his income for is once a year to pay his income tax and his property insurance and his condo and HOA fees.
Right. Whatever you're going to use it for, you can use it, you know, to give the kids money.
Yeah,
Live on it.
take a vacation.
I had a guy just took out $60,000 out of his annuity. He's going to Italy. He's going to France. He's taking a trip of a lifetime. He said, Joe, I booked 3 trips already.
And I got to tell you, I've got friends and family, and I'll get a call, and they're like, oh, I lost $20,000 today, right? Or sometimes it's more, you know, and they're not feeling good. But with an annuity, you don't have those problems. Your money's not at risk. Now, there's one thing we talked about this last time, and I think this is just absolutely amazing. Can you talk about this bonus?
Right. So right now there's many companies out there that give a bonus. It basically can make up for losses in the market. So let's say you've lost 10% in the market. This particular account gives you a 10% bonus up front. So you put $100,000 in, you're making $10,000 up front. And then it gives you 8.25% interest, which is all built up into an income value. And then you can start income after 12 months. It's one of the, I have this one myself.
So on day one, you've made 10% on your money.
And then 8.25%.
Come on, come on, come on.
18.25%.
All right, now listen, guys. Call Joe Thomas. He's offering free phone consultations, and when you call up Joe, he'll talk to you, and he's going to put together a custom plan, a custom proposal just for you, based on your situation, your goals, whatever you're looking to accomplish. And and you can take advantage of this no matter where you're located. All right, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, just go to his website. It's easy to remember, JupiterJoe.com. That's JupiterJoe.com. All right, Joe, good to see you. We'll see you next week. You're coming in.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you then. Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. There's nothing better than an annuity. All right, if you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Okay, now we're starting to see something happen for sure that we suspected. And you saw this both with the president this week, and Carolyn Leavitt was even talking about this outside the White House. And it's about the ending of the war with Russia and Ukraine. President Trump, they have a deal with Putin. You saw Putin gave Trump a painting, a fight painting after the Never Trumper shot him the other day, right? You guys see this? They have a peace agreement pretty much done with Russia. And Trump says that Zelensky is sabotaging it. Now, let me tell you, what's happened with Zelensky, Zelensky's not the real guy in charge over there. We know he's got these billionaire oligarch Ukrainians. Everybody knows this. But what's happening is they're putting up, oh yes, we want peace, but they're putting up these requirements that are never going to be met. As an example, one of them that Ukraine has put up is they want Russia to return Crimea. Now, Crimea used to be part of Ukraine, and when Obama was president, Russia took it. And they're not giving it back. You could say you want peace all you want, but if you put up standards that you know are not going to be accomplished, it's not going to happen. And let me tell you, Zelensky and his henchmen around him are some of the biggest lowlives on the planet today. Because President Trump tells us time and again that Ukrainians are dying. He's seen the videos and the photographs, are dying in huge numbers, brutally. And we don't see that in the media. And the reason we don't see, it's the only war where since Vietnam that they haven't shown us the footage. And the reason they don't show us is quite obvious. If the American people saw how bad Ukraine was getting its butt whooped, the American people, even the liberal ones, would be demanding an end to the war. So the media are not showing any of that footage because they want to keep prolonging the war because of the military-industrial complex. But at some point, Trump's going to come forward with that peace agreement that Putin has agreed to. And it's going to be a pretty good one. And it's going to put Zelensky in a tough position. But I don't think he's going to go along with it. He's going to do everything he can, and the people behind him, to stop this war from ending. They are sick and twisted people, no doubt. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Florida.
All right.
The show.
Oh, yeah, here we go. That's the set. All right.
Okay, a few things. First off, we shouldn't be making a deal unless we're getting something out of it. I think Trump should tell China and Russia, get out of Cuba. You want Taiwan, you want Ukraine, we want Cuba, for one. And two, not every Democrat's bad. I don't think Jimmy Carter was a good president, but he was a nice guy. So I'm going to say one Democrat was...
He was a nice guy. Come on. Is this Tom pretending to be Andre? This sounds like Tom. This is Tom.
Tax, which Illinois has a 5% tax.
Atlanta has a 4% tax. Like, these states are offering way better deals.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I appreciate the call, Tom. I mean, come on. I don't know what's going on with our callers today. Our callers, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. All right, listen, if you're on hold, hang in there. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. I want to tell everyone about the free doorbell camera offer from Sloman's. This is amazing. You know, you can get a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Sloman Shield. And remember this, you get a notification on your phone no matter where you're located when there's movement in the front of your house. It's absolutely amazing. It also makes a great gift that you can get for your mom, your dad, grandma, grandpa, or your adult kids living on their own. And, you know, when you look at your phone and you see what's out there, it is so convenient. It's not just, it's security, no doubt about it. But how many times you have Amazon, DoorDash, Instacart? Or like me, I've got these door-to-door salesmen constantly coming to my house. And I never have to answer the door. Before I had the doorbell camera, I cannot tell you how many times there'd be, I don't have a peephole on my door, right? Because I got this hurricane door and it didn't have a peephole in it, you know? And I would have got a different door. I didn't realize it until they were installing it, but I got it. And I'd have to look out the window to see who was there. I cannot tell you how many times I looked out the window and saw somebody there and, you know, I didn't open the door. Especially like the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Mormons. And they know I'm home now. It's really embarrassing. Don't have to do that anymore because I get a notification on my phone. So you can get a doorbell camera for free that connects directly to your cell phone too with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Sloman's, they're also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts, a lifetime warranty, a backup battery, plus a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Give them a call, toll-free, 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050. All right, it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with today's Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how the metals looking?
Market gave us a great buying opportunity in the last couple of days with gold yesterday down $91.70, closing out the day at $3,288 after trading in a range of $3,260 all the way up to $3,388. Silver was up $1.08 yesterday at $33.53. Platinum was up $17 at $973, and palladium gained $10 at $922. All the white metals were up. And yesterday we saw gold take that nice correction that we've been waiting for. Today we've got gold heading back up again, as we've seen on several of these occasions. Overnight, gold trading in a range of $3,288 to $3,369. Right now we're at $3,340. That's up $52 from yesterday's lows or close. Silver up or down 13 cents right now at $33.40. Platinum down $1 at $9.72, and palladium up $8 at $930. So, good opportunity still to buy gold at about $160 less than the all-time high of $3,500 that we saw.
Yeah, you know, and gold, same with the other metals too. But people that are into the metals like gold, when the metals are on sale like they are right now, they get all excited. Because they know that tomorrow, the next day, it's going to be back, you know, and they come in. So listen, William Youngerman opens, the metals are on sale, opens up at 10 a.m. Give them a call at 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, or stop in. Now remember, at William Youngerman's, all the metals are available for immediate delivery. His address, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1, Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And you can find William Youngerman's address and phone number on his website, williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman will finish out the week tomorrow. All right, take care. All right, we are back. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
You know, I was going to say, James O'Keefe. I heard that name. I didn't get to see. Do we know? I mean, that's fabulous what he that coverage that he got. Do we happen to know, I mean, typically I think a DOD branch chief is civilian, but do we know that? Was this guy active military?
No, he's a civilian supervisor at the Pentagon, but oh my goodness, he must be freaking out right now.
He's so, I mean, I was hoping he was, I mean, sometimes they're active military too, but I mean, because the guy would have been court-martialed so fast, it would...
You know, it really shows you, when James O'Keefe comes out with these videos, it really, you know, Washington, D.C. is like a swingers party. You know, they got all these, the way they do this is they have these stings. James O'Keefe has very good-looking people that work undercover, and they go on Tinder and you know that and what's the gay app, Mike? Grindr. Mike's not gay, but he knows Grindr. You know, but they go on Grindr and Tinder, and they know who they're looking for, and they target people from these government places, and then they go out on these dates in restaurants, and these guys just spill their guts.
When something like that comes out, if the American people see it, it just adds more. It adds more truth to the, you know.
Well, a few months ago, nothing would become of it. Now, this guy very well could be up on charges because they're going to investigate him. If this guy was sabotaging the Defense Department under Trump and Hegseth, he could get arrested.
Yeah, no, this could be what I'm thinking. Because like I was saying, if he sometimes the military, and that could be easily a court-martial and treason, and that would be all.
Well, what'll happen with this guy? What'll happen with a guy like I think it will be because we have something's gonna become of it. Look, they got rid of these guys at the Pentagon and they're facing charges too, these leakers. This guy here, they're gonna bring him in and they're gonna interrogate him. And they're gonna find out if he's part of a cell. And you know what? There might be active duty military at the Pentagon that are involved in this.
Yeah, there very well could be. I mean, I know Trump got rid of, he fired a few people, and of course we had Hegseth, and you know they let more people go, and we're slowly weeding these people out, and it's a beautiful thing to see. It's going to take time. You spoke about it earlier in the show, you know, about with the legal apparatus is trying to keep. It's amazing we don't have the leaks because the government is still full of liberals. So for the DOJ with Pam Bondi, Cash, and so forth, and Bongino, to keep things so tight is practically impossible.
Well, with this guy here, okay, you hear what he said? He said, I'm a patriot. You know, these people think that they're doing the patriotic thing. They don't realize they're bad guys. They think they're good guys. And that's what makes them even more destructive and dangerous.
Exactly. That guy, that's very, very dangerous. I mean, sorry to me, I heard about, like, Jasmine Crockett or whatever.
Crockett, like Sonny Crockett.
Yeah, like Crockett.
I know what you meant. I know. It's a family show.
She play acts. I mean, to me, I don't really think she hates white people. She's acting. I mean, Brian, I've seen some videos of her where she speaks like she's on the Queen Elizabeth.
You know, I've got it's a funny thing you say that. I got a video of her. Let me play that. This is a back-to-back. It's funny that you said that because I was going to play this earlier and didn't. This is a montage. It's Jasmine Crockett before she got famous, and then it's her more recently when she went ghetto.
You know, no one could have told me that when I went down to Austin.
This is her previous normal.
That I would be running for Congress. It's just not what my plan was. But what I've always decided is that I would step up when there was a need. Because we in these hot-ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now.
Yeah, you know, so the thing with Jasmine Crockett, it's a complete act. And I didn't hear of her before. And then she goes ghetto, and we all have heard of her.
Well, she's trying to appeal to the Al Sharpton victimhood class voter. I mean, and a lot of these people fall for it because they don't get the information that she used to speak, like, you know, proper English on the, you know, King Charles.
Her family are wealthy, and she went to private schools her whole life. She's very smart, very well educated. You know, it's like, who was that senator from Arizona, the Democrat that they got rid of? She went independent. I cannot remember her name. I got to tell you, she was in Congress for a long time. She was a plain Jane. Nobody ever heard of her. And she went and got this makeover. And her clothes, and she redid her identity, and she looked like a World War II pinup girl. You guys know who I'm talking. I can't think of her name offhand. And Jasmine Crockett did a version of that.
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate the call. And the other thing, Cinema. That's who did that. She went and got a makeover, and then she was like the most famous woman in Congress. But, the thing with Jasmine Crockett with this, it's funny that he brought that up because I was going to play that audio earlier, and I just didn't. It shows how racist she is and the Democrat Party, that they think that black people are all ghetto and don't speak properly. That's a really sad thing. Now, I want to tell you guys about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And today's kind of a funny day because I'm wearing this. I was talking about this earlier in the show. I'm wearing this new Trump sweatshirt that my wife got me for my birthday. And it's from the official Trump site. And she ordered this like several months ago. And it was on back order, and it just came in the mail today. It is so big on me. I mean, I'm going to wash it in hot water a whole bunch of times and try to shrink it. But it's 3 or 4 sizes too big for me. And the reason it is when my wife bought this months ago, we didn't get it till yesterday, was before I lost the 35 pounds with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. That if I would have gotten this months ago, it would have fit perfectly, maybe even been tight. But I've lost so much weight. You can really see it with this sweater today. And my belt is going around my body again. I've added so many holes to my belt. I haven't bought any new belts yet because I did tell them at Coastal Weight Loss Secret, I'm going to go into I'm going to maintain where I'm at now, right? I'm not going to lose any more weight. But I was thinking yesterday, you know what? I think I might go for 5 more pounds. Why not? I'm eating foods I would normally eat. I'm not taking any prescription medications like Ozempic, and I'm not doing any exercise. So why not go for another 5 or 10 pounds? I don't know. I'll think about it. I'm going to give you their number. When you call Coastal Weight Loss Secret, make sure you tell them you heard about them on the True Oldie channel. Now, I have lost 35 pounds, but maybe you want to lose less. Maybe you want to lose more. Maybe you want to lose 100, 150 or more. Give them a call. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlasssecret.com. Okay, now tomorrow is Friday already. Open phones, open MAGA mic Friday. And on Friday's show, you guys can call in about any and everything on your mind. The show prep is up to you all. You don't have to talk about anything that we bring up on the program. Although, I'm sure there'll be some big things in the news that I bring up tomorrow. But tomorrow is open phones. And sometimes that's the best show of the week, and then other times it's, one you want to forget. But that's tomorrow. Now, one last thing, though, I want to mention. And, the last caller was right. That story with James O'Keefe it's really the lead story today. But the media, they're not gonna cover it because D.C. is a complete resistance against Trump. But this story is really not getting a lot of play with President Trump paying out of his own pocket to put these 2 massive flagpoles up on each side of the White House, in the front lawn of the White House. And I'm amazed that they don't have the flags there already. But the reason he's paying for it out of his own pocket is because I guess it takes too long to get the government to do it. So he's just going to pay for it. And I have never, and maybe you've got an example of this, I have never in my life seen a president of the United States pay for something out of the White House, out of their own pocket like that. Especially one that doesn't take a salary like Donald Trump. Have you? Not at all. And it may be the first time. Now, presidents have had things done. Kennedy had the swimming pool. Was it Eisenhower who put in the bowling alley, or was it Ford who put in the bowling alley? I can't remember. But they didn't pay for it. The taxpayers paid for it, or the government paid for it, however you want to phrase it. This is the first time that I know of in history that a president of the United States has done any type of renovation at the White House where they paid for it. Jackie Kennedy remodeled the whole White House. President Truman had it rebuilt, had it gutted and rebuilt, but they didn't pay for it. And the 2 flagpoles, I mean, I know it's not the most expensive renovation, but flagpoles aren't cheap. And putting them there, it's never been done before. paying for something out of their own pocket, a president. You wouldn't know that by watching it. Now, there's been some mention that he's paying for it, but no mention that he's paying for it out of his own pocket, that it's the first time this has ever been done. All right, that's all the time we have for today. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. We'll see you tomorrow on Open Phone Friday. Take care.
The Cold.
All right, guys. Now, listen, if you're new, make sure you subscribe, all right? And if you're already subscribed, like the video and share it on your socials if you don't mind. All right? My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for watching. Take care.